Chapter 489. The Sky. The vast light that engulfed the entire world descended upon the human realm like a waterfall. The solemn light came from the law of Huang Quan. It will bring the 100 trillion dead people to reincarnate. According to the dead's karma from their past lives, all dead people will be reincarnated into the other 5 realms of the samsara. All reincarnated living beings will appear in a world that humans can't fathom. If they reincarnate into the heaven realm, they will be born from a lotus flower, or from a metal wind, or from an ancient tree. If they reincarnate into the 4 races of the Azura realm, they will be born from the back, or from water, or from fire, or from metal, or from a flower. The heaven realm and the Azura realm are both samsara upper realms, so there's no difference. If the dead reincarnate into the Beast King realm or the Wraith realm, they'll be no different from a human reincarnation. But other than viviparous birth, there are also egg birth, wet birth, incarnation, colored birth, colorless birth, thought, non-thought birth. All of them are different. The realm of Huang Quan and the human realm were still fusing intensely. The law of reincarnation manifested as a light that hung low like a curtain, enveloping all the dead people. But below the sky, the dead people didn't leave. They were still waiting for the world barrier to be activated. A new world was about to arrive. In the sky, countless demons and demon lords were anxiously roaring, pacing back and forth. But below the sky, it was completely silent. The 100 trillion dead people were cautiously watching the sky, watching out for any incoming demons. Gu Shan connected to Impartial Goddess, telling her to turn on 10 screens at once to record the appearance of all the demons as quickly as possible. This was the first time humans had close contact with demons. These demons' appearance, species, characteristics, even their habitual behavior will be extremely valuable information in the future. Gu Shan also stared at the screens without blinking for over 10 minutes. Finally, he sighed in relief. That's great. There are no true demon lords. Perhaps because the human realm was too weak, the demon lords that came this time were mostly altered demon lords. The 3-headed ghost snake demon god was clearly a powerful modified demon god. With it, as an example, the other altered demon lords didn't dare to descend to the human realm. Even the 2 chaotic demon lords didn't dare to descend. They were anxiously waiting in the sky, hoping that all the dead people would leave as soon as possible. The dead people didn't move. Time passed. The last minute passed. Rumbling sounds came from the sky, as if there were countless lightning bolts clashing with each other. An invisible wave, carrying with it the sound of tens of thousands of horses galloping, shook the entire world. In an instant, the fiendish demons that were still lingering around let out blood-curdling screams. As for the powerful demon gods, they roared and retreated. The protective barrier of the new world was slowly unfolding. All the demons that came into contact with the world barrier were turned to dust. The demon gods were also gradually unable to resist the mighty power of this world. They let out unwilling roars and left the human world one after another. The sun appeared. Everything was shrouded in the bright sunlight. The sky was a deep azure blue. There wasn't even a cloud in sight, much less any demons. It's over, Gu Shan muttered. He looked at the war god UI. 2 lines of glowing text hovered above it. The new worlds are still merging. The new world's protective barrier has been fully activated. Success. 7 hours had passed, and the demons had yet to invade this world. Gu Shan looked at the dead again. All the dead people's merit had become negative. Although this was their own choice, the results still made them feel a bit dejected. Everyone, I'm sorry. As Gu Shan was about to say something else, she was cut off. The merit accountant machine's voice resounded in everyone's ears. All dead people, attention please. All dead people, attention please. All dead people, attention please. From now on, your merit will be adjusted. The dead all looked up and listened attentively. The merit accountant machine continued. The samsara worlds will soon return to stability, so all the merit you can obtain has been fully collected. We will now proceed with the final calculation. During the Battle of Huang Quan, you did not manage to stop the demons from destroying the world. Nor did you stop the heavenly God's scheme. The survival of the samsara world was not saved. Furthermore, the fusion of the worlds was done by the Devil King. Thus, the conclusion is, all dead people did not save the samsara world. All merit will be cancelled, leaving only the minor merit for stealing the earth and with elemental essences. Special explanation is as follows. Dead people who chose to reincarnate revealed their true nature at the very last moment. Their evil intentions towards the world, their actions were enough to incite the world, almost leading to the destruction of the world. Conclusion. This behavior is the same as seeing someone in danger, not saving them if they could, not stopping them if they could, thus their merit is reduced. Final calculation is as follows. Dead people who reincarnated have the minor merit to steal the origin, while the dead people who reincarnated have the evil intentions of inciting the world to leave. Good and evil are balanced out and offset. Conclusion. Dead people who have reincarnated, their merit is 0. At this point, the merit accountant machine stopped. The dead people's expressions were quite interesting. The 10 strongest had already reincarnated, but their final evil intentions towards the world seemed to have caused the merit accountant machine to take revenge on them. The personal merit calculating machine continued to speak. All dead people who have yet to reincarnate have saved the 2 worlds that have fused. The new world has created a huge protective barrier. The new world protective barrier will cause the other samsara world protective barriers to strengthen as well. The samsara worlds have been saved. Conclusion. Dead people who have yet to reincarnate have saved the samsara worlds. The merit for saving the samsara worlds has been calculated, about to be distributed to all dead people who have yet to reincarnate. A row of numbers appeared above the dead people's heads. They looked up. Negative numbers turned to 0. 0 turned to positive numbers. The number of positive numbers kept increasing. Their merit was rapidly increasing. The dead couldn't help but cheer. Even though staying in this world was a matter of consuming merit, who could have thought that the merit gained would be even more than before? When the numbers above the dead people's heads stopped changing, it was already a number that everyone was satisfied with. The merit account machine once again made an announcement. According to your merit, the reincarnation of all dead people will begin. The dead will forget everything from their past life to their present life and welcome their new life. Warning, if you stay in the living world for too long, your merit will quickly fade and you will be sent to hell. Please proceed with caution. After the merit accountant machine finished its announcement, it went silent again. In the sky, the boundless screen of light once again descended like a waterfall. Billions of dead people cheered. "Thank you, Devil King," someone shouted. Gu Qingshan laughed and loudly declared, "No, it was you who saved this world. This is what you deserve. I have to thank you." The dead people cheered in frenzy. "We saved the world. Long live the Devil King." Those reincarnated garbage. Aha! They're going to be shocked. I really want to see their expressions. The dead people paid their final respects. The Federation Hospital. "I'm leaving." The female Azura looked at the sleeping child and his mother. "Can you give me a way to contact you? I want to invite you to our home for a meal," the child's mother said gratefully. "No need. We probably won't meet again," the female Azura smiled and said. She flew up into the sky and flew toward the direction of the villa on the mountain, the empty field in front of the mountaintop mansion. The 7 leaders all came up one by one, hugging Gu Qingshan. They reluctantly went back into the screen of light and left the human world. The female Azura was the last. It wasn't until the 6 leaders disappeared into the screen of light that she walked in front of Gu Qingshan. "I can't leave right now," she said. "Why not?" Gu Qingshan asked. "You promised to fight me," the female Azura said. She explained, "I'm an Azura. If I don't fight someone as strong as you, I'll definitely regret it." Gu Qingshan silently nodded. "That's right, the Azura are a warlike race. Fighting is a form of joy for them. After going through so much together, everything the female Azura has done has proven that she's more than qualified to be his comrade." Gu Qingshan took out the Chao Yin sword and spoke sincerely. "Very well. Let's not waste any time. I don't want your merit to be deducted." The female Azura drew a pair of blades from her back and raised her voice. I won't show any mercy. Her figure flashed, unleashing countless blade slashes straight towards Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan wielded her sword to receive her attack. Both sides quickly changed their stances, going back and forth a few times in just a few moments. The female Azura's blade strikes were fierce. Each of her attacks carried the determination to perish together with her. Gu Qingshan had no choice but to deal with it. Very quickly, Gu Qingshan saw a gap in her opponent's defense and thrust her sword forward. This strike was aimed straight at the female Azura's chest. If she doesn't pull back her blade to block it, she'll be dead. But the female Azura didn't seem to notice and continued to swing her blade at Gu Qingshan. She acted like she didn't see Gu Qingshan's sword and didn't even try to block it. In the blink of an eye, the sword was about to pierce through her chest. Gu Qingshan used all of her strength to deflect the sword at the very last second. The female Azura took that chance to get closer. Her blades were still glowing with sharp blade phantoms, but they were already on the ground. She hugged Gu Qingshan. She lightly leaned her head on his shoulder. I really don't want to forget you, she whispered. A screen of light descended from above, enveloping her. Wiping away her tears, the female Azura smiled softly at Gu Qingshan. A light breeze blew. Chapter 490. Not too far away, Anna silently watched all of this. At some unknown point, she had already turned her back. Black Dog asked, "You were about to stop her just now. Why did you stop at the end?" Anna lowered her head. "That was her last moment. I couldn't do it." Her eyes were a bit red. The female Azura had left. More dead people were sucked into the screen of light and left with her. When all the dead people had disappeared from the new world, the screen of light that covered the entire world slowly rose to the sky and faded away. Hell was empty. Trillions of dead people had reincarnated. That's crazy, isn't it? Jang Young-ho couldn't help but comment. If the dead were this powerful, shouldn't I have sent my girlfriend to Huang Quan already? Wouldn't I be harming her by keeping her in the human realm? Yi Feili hesitantly asked. You actually saved her. Gu Qingshan patted his shoulder. When I went to Huang Quan, the entire passage to Huang Quan had already been taken over by the demons. She definitely wouldn't have been able to pass through and would have been eaten by them. Not to mention, these dead people will eventually reincarnate. I've understood the thoughts of the dead in Huang Quan, so I know that the four races of the Azura realm each have their own world, each of which is vast and boundless. No one has ever reached their borders, while the Heaven realm is even larger. It also has a passage to other worlds, not to mention the Beast King realm and the Wraith realm. Both of them have their own secrets, and both of these worlds are filled with endless slaughter. For a new life to grow, they would have to face too much cruelty and bloodshed. Gu Qingshan's expression was a bit lonely. So once your girlfriend reincarnates, you'll never be able to find her again. Do you want her to leave? No, absolutely not. Yi Feili immediately replied. Hearing Gu Qingshan's words, he sighed in relief and calmed down. Suddenly, Gu Qingshan's expression changed. He was staring at the void of space in front of the mansion. The other combatants also noticed the abnormal fluctuations in the void of space. Everyone became cautious. All of a sudden, the void of space was opened. A green-clothed girl with a cold expression appeared in front of everyone, wielding the Six Paths' great mountain sword. Shanu, how is it? Gu Qingshan quickly asked. I saved him, Shanu replied. Behind her, the black-robed man landed on the ground with a glowing card in his hands. Lan. He carefully held the card in his hands, as if he was holding a rare treasure. On the card, a girl wearing a pair of thick, black-framed glasses was looking outside curiously. Gu Qingshan smiled and said, Congratulations, you've finally rescued her. Lan was extremely excited. There's indeed a time stanch in the place where Soft Note Soul is sealed. If it wasn't for your sword blocking the fatal attack for me, I'm afraid I wouldn't have succeeded. Now, I need to make some arrangements. After saying that, Haste took out a card. It was the only spatial positioning card in the Whisper of Salvation deck. Lan threw the card out. The card flashed and turned into a thin thread of white light. One end fell into Lan's hand, and the other disappeared into the void. Hayes grabbed one end of the thread of white light and tugged on it. Very quickly, the sound of something being pulled could be heard from the other end of the thread. It was now that Lon calmed down. He looked up at the sky and smiled. Who would have thought the apocalypse would already be over? Seems like my country won't need to participate in the war anymore. Gu Qing Shan. I have to say, I thank you for your help, he sincerely said. No need to thank me. I've already received the payment I deserve. This is a fair trade. Gu Qing Shan waved the Devil King Warden rod in her hand. No, you didn't have to use your sword to fight at the very last moment, but you still did, so I still have to thank you, Lon said. Thank who? A dignified male voice came from the void of space. Suddenly, there was a new movement in the void where the white thread of light had entered. The void of space split apart. Rows of guards wearing long robes and holding card tomes descended from the void of space. They moved quickly and silently, quickly forming a neat formation that filled the empty space in front of the mansion. More and more guards appeared, spreading up and down the mountain. After that, the void of space fluctuated intensely, as if something was trying its best to enter this world. But Lon smiled. He swung his hand and threw the card that contained Soft Note's soul into the void of space. After flying for a while, a hand reached out from the void of space to catch it. Soft Note seemed to have sensed something and smiled. A black-robed man appeared from the void of space. He looked exactly like Lon, but he was older, more mature. He had a beard and a dignified demeanor. I've finally saved you, Soft Note, the man said. Soft Sound bowed from the card and said with a smile, Thank you, my king. On the other side, Lon nodded to Gu Qing Shan and flew towards the man. His figure began to turn illusory in midair. Seeing him flying towards him, the dignified man sighed emotionally. My soul can finally fuse again, no longer needing to endure the pain day and night. Lon slowly entered the dignified man's body. Such a miraculous scene caused Zhang Young-ho, Yi-Fei Li, and the others to stare without blinking. The dignified man closed his eyes for a moment. A few moments later, his eyebrows loosened as his expression loosened. The dignified man appeared much more spirited, as if a person who had been ill for a long time had regained their vitality. He mused, so that's how it was. Looking at Gu Qing Shan, the man's eyes showed a hint of gratitude. Let me introduce myself again. I am the king of Sky Hayes Empire, Hayes Din. So Lon was a part of your soul? Gu Qing Shan asked. That's right, he is me, and I am him, Hayes Din continued. Thank you, sword cultivator of the Samsara world. If it weren't for you, my empress wouldn't have been saved. No need to be so formal. You've helped me greatly. I'm only repaying you, Gu Qing Shan replied. Then, I'll be taking a deity from your world, if you don't mind, Hayes Din said. Ooh, the red-robed demi. Go ahead, thank you. The great ghost general wasn't able to kill him. I shall avenge my empress, saying so. Hayes Din took out a golden scepter embedded with gems of various colors. He swung the scepter and muttered, Barrier, manifest in the air. 13 crimson shadows appeared. They were the shadows of 13 skeletons. They were circling around a large area of space, constantly emitting crimson light. Within the crimson light, the great ghost general and the red-robed old man could be seen chasing each other, fighting back and forth. The Azura king stood at the very back, maintaining the barrier of the covenant in one hand to maintain the movements of the 13 skeletons. His other hand was wielding a long blade, occasionally charging forward to attack. Seeing the red-robed demi's appearance, Soft Note's eyes displayed deep hatred. Your Majesty, please avenge me, Soft Note said. Don't worry, saying so, Hayes Din waved his hand. 72 card users each held a card book and surrounded the barrier of the covenant in the air. They each took out a card from their card book and aimed it at the barrier. But on every card, there was exactly the same picture. A metallic giant stood in the middle of the empty space. A gigantic hand descended from above, grabbing the giant tightly. The giant tried to struggle, but couldn't move. The card users waved their hands. 72 identical cards were thrown out and disappeared. Inside the barrier, the heavenly god's movement stopped. A gigantic, glowing hand descended from above, grabbing the heavenly god. The heavenly god struggled with everything he had. He roared madly and used all of his means. Even the entire barrier trembled under his power. But the glowing hand still managed to grab him. This was the 9th piece of the Sky Haze Empire's large-scale war deck, Dimensional Pursuit. It was capable of traversing the boundaries of space and time to capture a specific entity. The more powerful the target, the more Dimensional Pursuit cards it would need. On the other side, the 12-card users all drew a card and threw it into the air. The 12 cards vanished. The void of space abruptly split open. Just like a wall with a hole in it, everyone could see what the world behind the wall looked like. A luxurious royal palace. Countless golden cards were mounted on top of a tall throne. Several dozen card users wearing different colored robes stood below the throne, looking in this direction. "Do it," Haze Din casually ordered. The card users of the other world listened to his order and drew their cards to form a chain. The chain coiled around the barrier of the Covenant on this side. The glowing red barrier was then slowly pulled into another world by the chain that appeared out of nowhere. On the open space in the mountains, rows of battle card masters followed the barrier and returned to the opposite world. The only ones left here were Haze Din and Soft Note's soul card. "What are you going to do with him?" Gu Shan asked. "I haven't decided yet," Haze Din pondered. "He imprisoned Soft Note for 10,000 years. I need to think of a way to alleviate Soft Note's pain." Chapter 491. Haze Din scowled, seemingly considering how he should repay Gu Shan. "Please wait a moment. Let me do this," Soft Note said from the card. She took out a thick book from somewhere and drew a card from it. There was a huge eye drawn on the card. Faint white fog swirled and swirled inside the eye, forming a rapidly spinning whirlpool. This was the rarest Predictor of Fate card. Having such a rare card but still ended up like this means that I don't have the talent to use it. Saying so, Soft Note threw the card towards Gu Shan. "I've removed the soul brand between us. From now on, please treat it well," she said with a bit of reluctance. Gu Shan caught the card. A long line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. Predictor of Fate card, rare card. When you are hesitating, you can observe this card to see a certain possibility of your own fate. Description: only the best card users know how to use this card. Those who are not qualified will be fooled by it for attempting to peek into their own fate. Special note: this is a rare and precious card. In many worlds, you can use it to exchange for treasures that you yearn for day and night. Gu Shan uses. "I heard that cards are all your God's chosen skills. Can God's chosen skills also be given to others to use?" Haze Din and Soft Note exchanged glances. "If it's you, I don't mind telling you that," Haze Din spoke with a hint of meaning. "A card doesn't necessarily have to be your own God's chosen skill. It can also be someone else's. As long as a card user reaches a certain level, they can completely remove the soul brand on the card." Gu Shan understood right away. Su Shui'er had also given him a card. Only a powerful God's chosen would be able to give their abilities to others. He nodded to express his understanding. "In that case, thank you very much." "You're welcome. You're welcome to visit Sky Haze Empire whenever you have time," Haze Din said. He tossed out a badge. Gu Shan caught the badge and looked at it. There was a big tree printed on the badge. Thousands of cards were hanging on the branches, shining with colorful lights. "Take this. It contains our world's coordinates and a spatial passage. If you ever come to my empire, you can use this badge to find me directly." Haze Din smiled and told her. "Sure, you're welcome to drop by whenever you're free," Gu Shan said. Haze Din and Soft Note smiled and nodded. He waved at Gu Shan again, then flew into the crack in the void. The void quickly closed up. Everything returned to normal, as if the other world had never appeared. The human realm was quiet. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the earth. In the distant sky, opposite the setting sun, 3 moons appeared. The world of Huangquan was yin. After the 2 worlds fused to balance out the yin and yang elements of the world, a portion of the origin power of the world condensed into a new moon. People looked at the moon in the sky and realized that the world had changed. A mountain breeze blew in from afar, carrying an unprecedented sense of freshness. Gu Shan sensed the air and the wind and muttered, "Spirit energy has become even more abundant. The fusion of the two worlds had caused the origin of the world to become even more powerful. From now on, it would be easier for people to advance in their cultivation." The earth began to tremble. The entire world was trembling. All of a sudden, lines of glowing text appeared in his vision. The external changes of the world have ended. The laws of the two worlds are about to fuse. The fusion of the laws of the two worlds will produce a huge fluctuation of the origin. Please leave this world within 10 minutes to avoid the influence of the fluctuation of origin power on your personal timeline. Gu Shan was stunned. The last time this happened was during the game of Eternal's Descent. At the time, Gu Shan had no choice but to hide in the cultivation world. Why is that? Why do I have to avoid every time a huge fluctuation appears in the world? He couldn't help but ask. The system explained. Both you and I snuck back from the final apocalypse, so from a temporal perspective, we're different from all other existences. Once the laws of the world undergo a huge change, the chaotic space-time fluctuation on your body will be exposed, like a bright moon in the sky, attracting the most powerful divinities and demons to investigate. They are extremely interested in this. Gu Shan contemplated, but I've already given up my memories as a sword saint. Haven't I already been completely reborn? That is indeed the case, but the chaotic space-time fluctuation on your body will only slowly disappear. It won't completely calm down right away. How long will it take to completely calm down this fluctuation? At least a month, at least half a year. Gu Shan sighed in relief. As long as it can be calmed down. Otherwise, if the world underwent any huge change, I would have to avoid it. That's not a good feeling. 2 more lines of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. We are about to head to the space-time tunnel connecting Shunwu world and another unknown world. There are 9 minutes left. Please prepare yourself. Gu Shan nodded. He looked at his companions and cleared his throat. I have a few things I need to tell you all. Gu Shan used a few minutes to explain everything that happened outside of his rebirth in a way that everyone could understand. Which means you actually have the ability to travel to the other world. The president asked. Yes, all of my cultivation scriptures were brought back from that world, Gu Shan answered. What level are you in that world? Yi Fei asked. The image of the 100 Flowers Fairy appeared in Gu Shan's mind. Aside from my Shifu, I'm probably the next best, Gu Shan answered. Everyone sighed in relief. That's good, that's good. This ferocious bastard, even the world of Huang Quan was turned upside down by him, even trapping the heavenly god in the end. If someone like Gu Shan wasn't even worth much in the other world, then everyone here felt a lot of pressure. Just as everyone calmed down, Gu Shan's voice came again. You've reminded me, I forgot to tell you, there's actually another world. They're several times stronger than the cultivation world. My ascended realm late-stage cultivation is probably nothing. There's another world. Everyone was shocked. Zhang Yongho carefully asked, how strong are they? There was once a person who wanted to refine an entire world and take it away. Zhang Yongho was speechless. Gu Shan then explained, above ascended is sainted. Sainted is the strongest in the cultivation world, but in the other world, above sainted are the projection realm, tribulation realm, virtualized realm, and cryptic realm. The person who wanted to refine an entire world and take it away was only tribulation realm, but he managed to reach virtualized realm. This time, no one could say a word. Gu Shan glanced at the War God UI. There's 3 minutes left. He's been thinking about how to explain his departure. Finally, he came up with a reasonable explanation. The two worlds are currently fusing, so there might be extremely powerful entities spying on our world. Because of the world barrier, they can't enter, but they can notice that I have the ability to travel between worlds. Then what? Will they come to capture you? Anna hurriedly asked. Chapter 492. In other words, you're going to leave now? Anna asked reluctantly. She grabbed Gu Shan's hand tightly. Gu Shan replied, I'll have to leave in about 2 minutes, but that's fine. I'll be back, looking straight into Anna's eyes. Gu Shan added, Don't worry, I'll be fine. Anna was feeling a bit uneasy. Gu Shan is about to go to an extremely powerful world, where his strength doesn't mean much. How can I not worry about that? Anna cut her finger and used the blood on her forehead. Please lend me a bit of your power. Hound God, sir, she told Black Dog. Black Dog looked at her. Please, Anna said. A cluster of black flames appeared from Black Dog's body, slowly rose up, and hovered in front of Anna. Anna held the black flame in her hand and squeezed it. Bam! The black flame disappeared, but Anna's entire body was still emitting black threads that swam in the air. Anna reached her hand out and also used the same blood on Gu Shan's forehead. What are you doing? Gu Shan curiously asked. Don't move for now. I'm borrowing the power of a deity to summon the eternal death god, hoping to get some information about you. Anna's expression was extremely serious. Gu Shan couldn't do anything but stay still. After that, Anna silently looked at Gu Shan. Her gaze slowly left Gu Shan and was instead focused on Gu Shan's body and behind her, as if there was something there. A few moments later, a deep whisper came from above Anna's head. Mortal who has lost your way, in front of you is death that the entire world cannot match. Death is about to end that world. And in the face of such death, you will not be able to retaliate after saying that. The voice seemed to have said something else, but no one heard what it said. A strong gust of wind blew around them. The spell disappeared. Anna rushed forward to hug Gu Shan. No, you can't go, you'll die. She grabbed Gu Shan's arm and spoke incoherently. Gu Shan patted her back and comforted her softly. It's okay. I've even been to the Yellow Spring. Don't worry. He looked at the time. At the last minute, touching Anna's head, Gu Shan softened her voice. Don't worry, I won't die. I promise you. Anna looked at him and could not help but shake her head. Just now, it was the judgment bestowed by the Grim Reaper. How could the laws of death be wrong? Without hesitation, Anna stretched out her hand and pulled out a thin black thread from the depths of her fiery red hair. The thin thread was connected to a uniquely shaped pendant, which slowly rose from her fair neck. She put the pendant around Gu Shan's neck. Dummy, I don't need, Gu Shan said. He hurriedly tried to remove the pendant. Live. Anna grabbed his hand tightly and whispered, I won't allow you to die. Gu Shan froze. Recalling the past, he vaguely remembered the first time he went to Shunwu World. Anna was the same. The same actions, the same words. So the feelings of both lives have never been missed. Gu Shan was so emotional that he wanted to say something. But the time was up. A screen of light enveloped him. A second later, he disappeared in front of everyone. Black Dog came forward and sighed. Actually, the last sentence. I didn't want to tell you, but the god's judgment. I have to finish, Anna hurriedly asked. Sir, what was the last sentence? If you die in that world, even your soul will cease to exist. Anna bit her lip and carefully recalled everything that happened recently. She suddenly asked Yi Fei Li, Where's Su Cher? Why haven't I seen her yet? Yi Fei Li sneaked a glance at Zhang Yongho. Zhang Yongho thought for a bit and said, Tell me. Yi Fei Li hesitantly asked, Can I? It's fine. Zhang Yongho looked at Anna and spoke emotionally. She's even willing to bet her life on Gu Shan. I don't think we should hide anything from her regarding Gu Shan. Yi Fei Li then told her about Su Cher. She even told her about the scroll she took when she killed the Pope. Hearing that, Anna pondered. Zhang Yongho returned to the mansion, took out a jade tag, and gave it to Anna. What is this? This is a scripture that Gu Shan chose for you. Afraid that he might not be around, he left in the mansion and told us to give it to you. When we have the chance, Black Dog jumped up and received the jade tag. This method, a scripture that specifically absorbs the power of heaven and earth to strengthen oneself, as well as increase the amount of power that the body can absorb. This is a good thing. It'll greatly benefit your skills. Your divine skill of death will become much more powerful, Black Dog commented. Yi Fei Li couldn't help but ask, Isn't it enough to only cultivate these scriptures? Do I still need to learn other skills? Black Dog scoffed. You're an amateur. Even that brat who just left was constantly using his swordsmanship to unleash his power. Yi Fei Li felt a headache coming on. If that's the case, aside from cultivation, I still need to find some powerful offensive techniques. Black Dog didn't say anything else and gave the jade tag to Anna. Sir Hound Deity, Anna said. I've made up my mind. Are you sure? That's right. I have to become stronger to keep up with him, to be able to face Su Shui Air. Black Dog seemed to smile. He muttered an incantation. Black Dog's body slowly grew to the height of a 3-story building. His voice became loud and solemn, like a god interrogating a mortal. I want to ask you again, after you come with me to that place, you will become an apostle of death, unable to worship any other gods. Are you sure you want to go? I definitely want to go, Anna replied. Black Dog stared at her for a while. Although we haven't known each other for that long, your talent is the best I've seen in the last several thousand years. You've been sleeping for the last 1,000 years. You talk too much. Come on up, Black Dog said. Anna leapt onto Black Dog's back. Standing on Black Dog's back, Anna told Zhang Yongho and Yi Fei Li, if he comes back, tell him I'm going to cultivate. Instantly, black flames erupted from Black Dog's body. It leaped into the air and ran towards the distant sky. Verona loudly called out, "Wait a minute, Anna. The Holy Empire is waiting for you to take control." Black Dog stopped in midair. I'm sorry, Auntie. Now that my father's death has been avenged, I have nothing else to worry about. I'll leave the Empire to you, Anna said. In this current world, only by becoming strong can you protect your own wishes. I'll be going first. Black Dog once again headed towards the sky. Where exactly are you going? Verona hurriedly asked. A cave of burning black flames opened up in the void of space. Black Dog jumped in. Only a single sentence was left in the sky. Chapter 493. In the sky, the cave burning with black flames slowly disappeared. Anna and Blackhound's figures had already disappeared without a trace. A small-sized interstellar warship descended from the sky. Liao Xing had returned. What a magnificent and miraculous battle. I've seen it all from space, he shouted. You're a scientist. What do you think we should do next? Zhang Yongho asked. Cultivation. We must cultivate. I've decided to make cultivation our main research project, Liao Xing answered. That's right. I also want to cultivate. Yi Fei Li sighed. The president muses, we need to make everyone in the world enter a state of cultivation as soon as possible. That way, if there's a disaster in the future, everyone will be able to save themselves. That's right. We need to come up with a plan, Verona agreed. All of a sudden, the forgetting river soul separating hook appeared from the void of space. Behind this divine armament of Huang Quan, a few dozen other weapons silently hovered in the air. The forgetting river soul separating hook spoke. Don't worry, after the world fuses, we Huang Quan weapons will also come to help. And us, we will ensure the stability of this world, the prayer's trial machine also spoke. Behind it, various machines of various shapes and sizes appeared one after another. Seems like the world will become a lot more wondrous from now on, Liao Xing excitedly said. At this time, a noise came from inside the mansion. Who's inside? Zhang Yongho cautiously asked. As soon as he said so, the door was opened from the inside. Everyone turned to look. Su Sher was wearing a white robe, holding a scepter in her hand as she appeared at the door. With a smile on her face, her eyes scanned through everyone. She didn't see Gu Qingshan. HM? Why isn't Qingshan here? Su Sher doubtfully asked. She couldn't help but look at the time on her watch. This time, she still didn't have much time to return. Because she returned to Fog Isle from here last time, she didn't need to spend any more time on the long journey. She could stay here for an hour. Looking around again, she didn't see Gu Qingshan anywhere. Su Sher took out her hollow brain and dialed Gu Qingshan's number. They looked at each other. Zhang Yongho patted his chest and muttered, It's a good thing that the other one just left, otherwise I'm guessing the world would have been destroyed again, yes. Yi Fei Li said in a low voice, and this time, Gu Qingshan can't save the world. I'm afraid he can't even save himself. What are you talking about? Su Sher asked. She put down her hollow brain. His hollow brain was completely unable to connect to Gu Qingshan. May I know where Gu Qingshan is? Su Sher asked politely. Zhang Yongho looked at Yi Fei Li, and Yi Fei Li looked at Liao Xing. Liao Xing looked at Su Share's beautiful face and murmured, "So beautiful." "Oh no, I mean he left." "Where did he go? Did something happen to him?" Su Share pursued. Her hand was already holding the scepter tightly. "He's fine. He couldn't be any better," Zhang Yongho quickly added. "Then that's good. Where is he now? I want to find him right away." "You won't be able to find him right now." Liao Xing continued to look at Su Share and said, "Why not? It's a long story. It's probably a very long one. Please tell me everything. Thank you very much," Su Share solemnly said. Liao Xing told them everything about Gu Qingshan's recent situation. During that time, Yi Fei Li came into the room to give a jade tag to Su Share. Su Share held the jade tag in her hand, stunned. "World travel? No wonder I saw that kind of future." She sighed a bit absent-mindedly. "Since he's not here, I'll go home and take a look. Everyone, see you again, see you again." Everyone said goodbye to her. As Su Share was about to leave, she suddenly remembered something and stood still. She seemed to have a lot on her mind, wanting to say something but hesitating. What else do you want, beautiful girl?" Liao Xing smiled. "I'm sorry, it's actually unnecessary, but I still want to ask something." "What is it? Where's Anna? Where's she?" Saying so, Su Share's eyes became unreadable. "Ah, about that." Liao Xing pursed his lips and paused. "How should I say this?" He looked around. The president had already entered the mansion. Zhang Yongho was even faster than the president, already out of sight. Yi Fei Li leapt to the sky, randomly chose a direction, and flapped her wings to fly away. Monarch Verona thought for a bit, shook her head, and muttered. Between juniors, she also entered the mansion. Seeing everyone's reaction, Liao Xing also realized. "I'm sorry, I didn't know Anna." At this time, a small white bird jumped out of nowhere. It landed on Liao Xing's shoulder, screaming at Su Share. "Anna? Are you talking about the woman who hugged Gu Qingshan, or the one who grabbed his arm and wouldn't let go?" All was quiet. The air was filled with an unprecedented sense of terror. The intense killing intent almost made Liao Xing feel suffocated. Seems like there's something I don't understand yet." Su Share smiled and slowly spoke. Suddenly, a sharp whistling sound was heard, as if a powerful force had pierced through the air. The scepter in Su Share's hand gave off a holy white light that shot straight to the sky. This power was so vast that a black hole was pierced through the clouds. The power that connected heaven and earth was like a miracle, causing everyone to feel a sense of awe. "I'm sorry, I'm still not used to using the scepter." Su Share lowered her gaze. With a swing of his scepter, all the power disappeared. "Please tell me, what's going on with those two girls?" Su Share spoke with an unquestionable tone. Liao Xing struggled to move his lips. He couldn't find anything to say. "She's just a pretty girl. How did she—" The small white bird stood on his shoulder, watching this. Suddenly, the small white bird turned around and looked at Liao Xing. "Hey, old man, what are you shaking for? Are you crazy?" Gu Qingshan appeared in the space vortex. He looked around. Qing Ro and Wan Er both looked tired, their eyes full of worry. Extremely far in front of them, a glowing gate could be faintly seen. Abundant spirit energy could be felt even from afar. "This spirit energy is from the formation. Absorb as much as you can," Qing Ro told Wan Er. Wan Er hurriedly nodded. "We're almost there. How much longer will it take for us to get there?" Gu Qingshan asked. "About 5 minutes at most. We'll reach that world," Qing Ro answered. Gu Qingshan nodded. The Zishan young Master Qi Yin is most likely already dead in the Tiamat world. Qi Yan's father was a late virtualized realm cultivator. This extremely powerful cultivator was currently facing his tribulation. Once he succeeds and breaks through to cryptic realm, he'll become the strongest person in Guangyang sect. Even the elder who's always been against him won't be able to do anything to him. That elder was also a cryptic realm cultivator, but he was wounded by the terrifying demon lord and still hasn't fully recovered. The Gate of Light was getting closer and closer. Not too long after, Gu Qingshan will have to face the Zishan young master's father. At this time, lines of glowing text were scrolling past the War God UI. Destiny Quest. World Collapsing Battle. Quest description. The world is on the verge of irreparable collapse, but you manage to travel to Huang Quan to find the cause of the calamity. This has given the world a rare chance to reverse its collapse. Quest objective. Please do everything in your power to save the human realm and Huang Quan realm. As soon as Gu Qingshan read through those lines, they turned to ash. You've completed the quest. You've obtained the unique storyline reward. War God's Thaumaturgy, Sainted Realm. The War God UI turned dark. What's going on? Gu Qingshan was surprised. New lines of glowing text appeared in the darkness. This used to be an extremely powerful cultivation civilization, but it was also a world that was heading toward its end. The awakening of a thaumaturgy will naturally resonate with the laws of the current world. The thaumaturgy that you awakened before, Shadow Shift, was also obtained by resonating with Shunwu world and extracting the world's origin. Player, please continue to explore the suspended world to understand its structure. When you understand the suspended world well enough, the quest will begin. After Gu Qingshan read through them, these lines of text disappeared. Chapter 494. As Gu Qingshan stared at the darkness, she fell into her memories. The Battle of Shenwu World was quite shocking, but there were a few things that were crucial to what he was going to do next. At the time, he used soul reading on a cultivator from another world. A few secrets appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind again. Qi Yan's father, the sect master of Guangyang sect, Qi Ruoya, was facing his tribulation. Even Qi Ruoya didn't know what his son was up to recently. He simply gave Qi Yan whatever he wanted, that was all. Qi Yan was also planning his own plans. If Qi Ruoya successfully faces his tribulation and breaks through the cryptic realm, Qi Yan will give him 2 worlds as a congratulatory gift. But if Qi Ruoya fails, Qi Yan will immediately take the 2 worlds and leave Guangyang sect, leaving their original world. After all, the Grand Elder's faction won't let him go. Qi Yan's plan was perfect. Unfortunately, everyone he brought to Shenwu world were all killed by the Tianma Empress. Even Qi Yan himself was sent to the Tianma world and is now dead. Gu Qingshan vaguely remembered that there was a person called Wu San who was Qi Yan's follower. Wu San stayed at Guangyang sect and didn't go to Shenwu world. Wu San knows everything. Gu Qingshan immediately asked the system, I remember there was a quest before. Can I take a look? A few lines of glowing text quickly appeared at the corner of the War God UI. Unique quest. Wu San must die. Quest description. Attention user. In a completely unknown world, there's only one cultivator who knows about Shunwu world and the cultivation world. By killing this person, no one will ever know about the existence of these 2 worlds again. This matter is related to the ultimate fate of both the cultivation world and Shenwu world. The user must deal with it seriously. Quest objective. Before the secret is discovered by others, kill this person who knows about it. Quest reward. The user can choose any other quest and immediately complete it. Gu Qingshan fell into thought, which means I have to kill Wu San for sure Fu and the others to be truly safe. The wind in the space vortex was still blowing, but it was getting weaker and weaker. Gu Qingshan looked forward. The few of them were not far from the door of light. Gu Qingshan tapped her inventory bag and took out a leather suitcase. He opened the briefcase and saw 2 rows of genetic agents inside. Gu Qingshan took out a syringe and injected it into herself. What are you doing? Wanner asked curiously. As soon as she asked, she covered her mouth in shock. Gu Qingshan slowly turned into Qi Yan's appearance. Big sis Qingro look. Wanner pulled Qingro. Qingro looked up and down at Gu Qingshan. It was exactly the same. How did you do that? Qingro was surprised. The power of science. Science? What is that? You can think of it as some kind of magic treasure. Wanner suddenly understood. So that's how it is. You have such a magic treasure. No wonder you were so confident earlier. But your realm is too low. You're only at, late divine transformation realm? Qingro was shocked. In the previous battle, his cultivation level was at the nascent soul realm. How did it suddenly jump to the soul formation stage? Was he hiding his true strength? So what if I'm soul formation late stage? I'm still very far away from virtualized realm. Gu Qing sighed emotionally. He took out a large bamboo hat. This was one of the spoils of war he got when he killed the first otherworld cultivators in Shenwu world. Almost every cultivator in Guangyang sect wore a large bamboo hat to hide their presence. At the time, after everyone's analysis, they all agreed that the otherworld cultivators lived in a world that required constant vigilance. Because of that, they all wore large bamboo hats. Seeing the hat, the two girls' eyes lit up. Whoa, that's great. With the hat on, no one can tell your realm. One heir clapped her hands. Qian is very particular about his appearance. He doesn't wear a large bamboo hat easily, Qing Ro replied. I've read through that information and considered that then. What about this? Gu Qingshan asked. He drew his sword. A sword phantom flashed and disappeared. A few deep cuts appeared on Gu Qingshan's face. Qing Ro stared at him. His expression was calm, without so much as a frown on his face. Qing Ro sighed. I'm impressed. Sword phantoms are too powerful. Once they're attached to the blade of the sword, the wounds won't heal immediately. If that's the case, Qian, who cares about his appearance, would definitely think of a way to hide the wounds on his face. That's why the sect's regular bamboo hat is the most convenient way to hide it, Gu Qingshan explained. Qing Ro thought for a bit, then took out a handkerchief and carefully wiped the blood off Gu Qingshan's face. There's no need, Gu Qingshan said. Don't move, Qing Ro scolded her. Wan Er and I are Qian's maids from now on. You'll have to get used to our personal service. Big sis is right. You can't hide from us, Wan Er said. She took out a healing pill, held it with two slender fingers, and brought it to Gu Qingshan's lips. I was careless. Gu Qingshan immediately apologized. He swallowed the pill. Right now, he has to perfectly impersonate Qian. After entering that world, every move he makes will directly affect the life and death of the three of them, so he can't afford to be careless. If he gives himself away, the only thing waiting for the three of them will be eternal damnation. Do you feel like there's any difference between me and him? Gu Qingshan asked. Standing there, both his posture and movements were exactly the same as Qian's. Even the dignified presence he gave off was similar to Qian's. This kind of presence was something only those who've been in a position of power for a long time would have. His words and actions conveyed his great confidence. Qing Ro and Wan Er seriously looked at him, silently surprised. Who would have thought he could imitate even this? Everything else is correct, but there seems to be a bit of a difference in presence, Qing Ro muses. That's right. I also feel the same, Wan Er agreed. What's the difference? Gu Qingshan asked. Qian's personality isn't stable. He's cruel and bloodthirsty, cold and emotionless. You don't seem to have that kind of coldness, Qing Ro commented. Gu Qingshan closed his eyes. His body moved a bit, took a few steps forward, then returned. His presence quickly changed. A faint killing intent exuded from his body, giving off an indescribable sense of discomfort. At this moment, Gu Qingshan gave off the feeling of a poisonous snake ready to bite at any moment. How impressive! How did you do that? Qing Ro praised him. As long as I'm constantly thinking about how to kill you in a single strike, I'll get this feeling, Gu Qingshan replied. But I still can't do it to your level, Wan Er sighed. I've learned how to perform. Saying so, Gu Qingshan drew a sword. The Six Paths Great Mountain Sword. A green-clothed woman flew out from the sword. Her body was light and graceful. Her lips were bright red, her eyebrows like a phoenix, but her expression carried a faint sense of coldness. What a beautiful sword spirit! Wan Er exclaimed in surprise. Qing Ro was also attracted by Shanu's beauty, muttering, a humanoid sword spirit. What a rare sight. I wonder what kind of sword could give birth to such a miraculous sword spirit. Both of them were Tribulation Realm cultivators, proud daughters of heaven in their own worlds, so their eyes and knowledge were top-notch. Not to mention that they saw Shanu fly out from the sword with their own eyes. This was completely different from the time when Gu Qingshan only saw Shanu at the bottom of the Forgetting River and didn't see the sword. So they were able to recognize Shanu's identity right away. Gongzi, you were looking for me? Shanu asked. She was holding a jade tag in her hand. Have you finished reading the information? Gu Shan asked. I've finished. I have a general understanding of the current situation, Shanu answered. Because the upcoming situation is very dangerous. I can't let anyone know that I'm a fake. So I need your help. What kind of help? Help me distract everyone's attention. Gu Shan continued. When the sect master's son returns to the sect, he will definitely attract a lot of attention. I still haven't gotten used to Qi Yan's identity, so I can't let myself be exposed. So we need to divert everyone's attention from me to you. Divert everyone's attention to me? Shanna was completely confused and couldn't help but ask, what should I do? Wan Er reminded her, Qi Yan has always been a pervert. If you want him to pretend to be a maid, a lot of people will think that it's natural, so they won't pay attention to him after a single glance. That's right, from now on, Shanu will have to pretend to be my disciple, Gu Shan told her. For someone like Qi Yan to take in a disciple, a lot of people will be shocked. They will definitely pay attention to you. Want to know where you came from and why you were taken in as my disciple. This way, they will pay more attention to you. Not me. Gongzi is right, Shanu agreed. Wait a minute. She's a sword spirit. Qing Ro couldn't understand. As soon as a sword spirit walks out, many tribulation and virtualized realm cultivators will be able to see through her. It's fine, Gu Shan replied. A sword phantom flashed. He cut his wrist open and told Shanu, come. Shanu stepped forward, holding the blood that was dripping from Gu Shan's wrist with both hands. A few moments later, it's enough, Shanu said. Are you sure? Yes, it's enough. Gu Shan then sealed the wound and said, now, you can use that, yes. Gongzi Shanu closed her eyes and used mystery of all beings equal on Gu Shan's blood. With the 6 paths, great mountains thaumaturgy, living's wisdom, she can use all of Gu Shan's skills and experience. In fact, her power comes from the divine mountain, so she doesn't need soul points at all. As strong as Gu Shan is, she's as strong as she is. Mystery of all beings equal. You will learn how to distinguish the most basic components of each entity, obtaining the ability to change yourself into that entity. Description: you must obtain the components of that entity in order to distinguish its characteristics and laws in order to disguise yourself as that entity. Fresh blood is one of the most important components of a human's body. A few moments later, Shanu turned into Gu Shan's appearance, while Gu Shan turned into Qi Yan's appearance. This looks a bit messy. Gu Shan then curtsied towards Qi Yan and asked, Gongzi, what do you think of my transformation? Qi Yan was a bit surprised, then spoke with a strange expression. Not bad, but don't do anything feminine. Yes, Shanu immediately understood. Thinking about how Gu Shan normally behaves, she stood still with her head held high. Qi Yan thought for a bit, then said, from now on, call me Shifu. Gu Shan clasped her fist awkwardly and said, disciple greets Shifu. Qi Yan was pleased. Not bad. That's enough. Shanna was a bit unsure and asked, is that enough? But I don't look like you. How about you teach me your acting skills as well, Gongzi? It's fine. No one in that world has ever seen me before, so you don't need to imitate my original actions. As long as you don't do anything feminine, everything else is fine. Shanu calmed down and nodded. That's something I can do. Qing Ro and Wan Er stood on one side, completely dumbfounded. Night. The night was cold as water. The world was silent and silent. An island full of stars hovered in the sky. The moon of this world had already disappeared without a trace, leaving only darkness to cover everything in this world. At a certain point, on an inconspicuous floating island, hundreds of gray rocks began to move. Without a sound, the rocks formed a mystical formation. The formation was formed. Right away, something broke through the void of space and lightly fell to the ground. It was a small, intricate formation plate. It bounced on the ground and scattered into fine, powdery debris. The formation plate was completely destroyed. A few moments later, 4 figures appeared from the void of space, slowly landing inside the formation. A female voice called out, the quarantine formation is in good condition. Another female spoke. Everything is normal around us. We're safe for now. Following these 2 sentences, the atmosphere seemed to have calmed down. Wan Er, please take a look at the time, Gu Shan's voice called out. He held the edge of his hat, observing this unfamiliar world. Wan Air tapped her inventory bag and took out a black talisman. She infused her spirit energy into the talisman. Right away, two words made of white light appeared on the talisman. Xiong and Ji. These two words quickly alternated until Ji completely disappeared. Xiong quickly expanded until it took up the entire talisman. Gongzi, it's currently the ominous hour, Wan Air said. In other words, we have to stay inside the quarantine formation until the ominous hour is over before we can return to the sect. Gu Qing asked. That's right, this isn't a good time to move. Otherwise we might die at any moment, Qing Ro replied. Shannon muttered in a low voice. What a dangerous world. She was currently using Gu Qingshan's appearance. That's right, this world is about to come to an end, Wan Air nodded. Then let's wait, Gu Qingshan said. He took out a few praying mats and distributed them to everyone. Then he sat down comfortably. This small floating island was completely hidden by the quarantine formation, so it was quite safe at this time of the day. Although I've read the information, what kind of entity is it exactly? Gu Qingshan asked. We'll see it soon enough, Qing Ro replied. Right now, we can see a few unconscious entities first. Please take a look, Gongzi, Wan Air said. She took out a small rock from the ground, infused spirit energy, and threw it out. The rock turned into a blurred image as it flew out of the formation. Because it was infused with spirit energy, the rock didn't slow down at all and flew out of the floating island. All of a sudden, a giant black maw appeared from the void of space and bit the rock. Crack, 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 crack. The black maw chewed on the rock for a while before disappearing. That means when it's awake, it's the ominous hour, and no cultivator can use spirit energy? Gu Qingshan asked. That's right. This is its unconscious entity. Whenever it senses spirit energy, it will come to devour it, Wan Air answered. If it encounters strong resistance, the unconscious entity will scatter and be replaced by the realm demon's consciousness. If it still can't win against the resistance, the realm demon's main body will come. Can anyone win against its main body? For example, a cryptic realm cultivator? Gu Qingshan asked. Chapter 495. Even cryptic realm cultivators aren't a match for it. If that's the case, then the realm demon's power is unstoppable. While Gu Qingshan was thinking, he noticed something. The chains that bound Qing Air and Wan Air's bodies were slowly tightening. Both of them were beautiful women, but their eyebrows were scrunched up by the chains, showing signs of pain on their faces. The chains on their bodies were also strengthened. Why is that? He asked in a low voice. Because it's currently danger hour, the cultivators of this world are most afraid of us slaves causing trouble during danger hour, Qing Ro answered. Wan Air also added, during danger hour, no matter how strong they are, they won't dare to use spirit energy to retaliate. Otherwise, they'll attract the realm demon. That's the result of mutual destruction. Gu Qingshan nodded, expressing that she understood. Thinking back to the information she read, there were indeed such records. Slaves who couldn't stand the torture and suddenly caused trouble during danger hour, dragging over a dozen cultivators to be devoured by the realm demon. This caused the cultivators of this world to be very cautious. That's why they created this kind of chain that would automatically bind the slaves during danger hour, making them unable to use any of their powers. This kind of chain lock seal is truly powerful. Bai Hua Fairy once commented that even she couldn't resist this kind of lock seal. Gu Qingshan suddenly thought of something. If the cultivators couldn't enter the quarantine formation in time during danger hour, wouldn't they die? Gu Qingshan asked. Use the presence concealment technique to hold on. Don't release even a tiny bit of spirit energy. Otherwise, if the unconscious entities sense it, they'll die, Qing Ro replied. Shanu, who had been silently listening on the side, had a worried look on her face. She asked in a low voice, Gongzi, this world is too dangerous. Do you still want to think of a way to save this world? Save this world? Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. Why would I want to save it? Shanna looked at Qing Ro and Wan Air and tried to hide it. Because of what you did before, I thought you'd do the same thing here. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan smiled. First of all, I probably don't have that ability. Secondly, I've done some research on this world. The people here only worship killing and slavery. He pointed at Qing and Wan Air with his chin. The worthless people have all been killed. Look at what happened to them. Only beauties like them will be enslaved and survive temporarily. Although I often kill, I don't like this style. Gu Qingshan's tone became indifferent. Such a world, let it be destroyed. Shannon nodded thoughtfully. Gu Qingshan's gaze fell on the ground as she gently caressed a few rocks on the ground. The most valuable thing about Qi Yan's private island is this spirit energy isolation formation, he mused. That's right. This formation is priceless. It's the most valuable thing in this world, Qing Ro replied. After hearing what he said, her face warmed up a little. Although his cultivation wasn't particularly high, the things he did in Shenwu world were completely unheard of. The Sky Demon was a monster that specialized in eating humans, yet it was willing to cooperate with him. He was only a nascent soul cultivator back then, and that heavenly demon was the emperor of the heavenly demons. Thinking that, Qing Ro didn't dare to underestimate the man in front of her. Wan Air also answered, without Qi Yan's permission, no one is allowed to set foot on this island. Anyone who disobeys will be killed by Guangyang's sect, an isolation formation. No wonder all cultivators of this world wear hats. Gu Qingshan looked around. The world was dark and silent. The island in the sky didn't have a single trace of life. It was currently danger hour, so nothing could be done. Gu Qingshan said, if that's the case, I'll be resting for a bit. Wake me up when danger hour is over. Yes, Qing Ro replied. Gu Qingshan then sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and adjusted his breathing. The expression on his face gradually relaxed, and his furrowed brows also smoothed out. Very quickly, the three girls could hear his breathing becoming stable and regular. He had fallen asleep. Qing Ro and Wan Air exchanged glances, feeling a bit relieved. That's right, he just went through a huge battle. He used everything he had and risked his life to send the virtualized realm Qi Yin into the Tianmao world. It really was hard. He should be resting. But they didn't know what Gu Qingshan had to go through. After returning to reality, the only time Gu Qingshan could relax was when he went to a bar to have a drink. After that, he first accompanied Yi Fei Li to cause a ruckus in the capital, then faced his ascended realm lightning tribulation in the desert, went to the Fushi Desert Oasis Palace to search for the Emperor's secret, discovered the frozen hell, returned to the capital of the Federation to expose the Emperor's conspiracy, stopped the World War, defeated the Black Cloak Skeleton, helped Monarch Verona ascend to the throne, killed the Pope, received the Huang Quan machine, and finally, when the world was about to be destroyed, he had no choice but to go to Huang Quan alone. On the way here, he didn't even have time to breathe. He was currently trapped inside the quarantine formation, unable to leave. This was his only chance to rest. The world was silent. Countless floating islands silently floated in the sky, like black shadows in the night sky. Time slowly passed. At some point, the earth let out a long sigh. This sigh shook the entire sky, reaching the edge of the world that couldn't be detected. Wan Air looked down at the talisman in her hand. The large, fierce character disappeared, replaced by the lucky character. Gongzi, fierce hour is over, Wan Air said. Gu Qingshan opened his eyes. He stretched his back and said, what a long sleep. I haven't slept this well for a long time. Gongzi, you only slept for a short while, Shanu said. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. Is that so? Why do I feel like I slept for a long time? You're too tired, Shanu stared at him and said. Suddenly, everyone shut their mouths. A large island was passing right above the island where Gu Qingshan's group was. Gu Qingshan looked up, only to see that the bottom and middle of the island were filled with holes that looked like a beehive. Colorful spiritual light was emitted from each hole, and sometimes one could even vaguely see the silhouette of a person. The light drifted around the entire island, illuminating it like a bright star. The island silently streaked across the sky and flew into the distance. Fierce hour was over. Something new was happening in the sky. The floating islands were giving off a blinding light in the darkness of the night. They were illuminating the entire sky with their light. At once, The entire night sky looked like a sea of stars. How magnificent! Is this the cultivation civilization of the suspended world? Gu Qingshan praised. He silently watched for a while, then scowled, because the light on the floating islands suddenly appeared out of nowhere in the night. It looked very bright at first glance. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the light is getting dimmer and dimmer. The light is getting dimmer and dimmer. Why is that? He muttered. Because there's no land anymore, so spirit stones can't be replenished, Qingro explained. Right now, all spirit stones have to be used to maintain the suspended formation during auspicious hour, as well as a large-scale quarantine formation during fierce hour. That's why the formation's usage is always maintained at just enough. No waste is allowed, one heir explained. If spirit stones can't be replenished, are there any sects that have run out of spirit stones? Gu Qingshan asked. Qingro and one heir exchanged glances. Quite often, Qingro muttered. In such sects, low-level cultivators are immediately abandoned or even killed. Only formation users and high-level combatants are recruited by other sects, one heir explained. Gu Qingshan nodded, then remembered a very important question. The people of this suspended world should have already conquered a lot of other worlds. Have they all been fused into the suspended world? He asked. That's right, and all the fused worlds now belong to the realm demon, Qingro answered. One heir gloated. They conquered every world they could find, only to benefit the realm demon in the end. I'm really happy about that. They can't find any new worlds anymore? Gu Qingshan asked. For the past several 10,000 years, all the worlds they could find have been fused into this world, but Qi Yin has a way to refine a world for himself, Gu Qingshan commented. Qingro smiled. That's a refining technique that they only came up with a few years ago, specifically for escaping from this world. Unfortunately, one heir also smiled. Unfortunately, they can't find any new worlds anymore. Chapter 496. From the sound of it, this world has fallen into despair, Gu Qingshan commented. That is indeed the case, one heir smiled. Gu Qingshan's expression was a bit solemn. Despair can make people go crazy, saying so. He stood up from the cushion. The two girls were a bit surprised, then fell into thought. Gu Qingshan asked, if it's already the auspicious time, can we go to Guangyang's sect now? Gongzi, it's about time, Qingro replied. Let's go. The two girls stood up and finished packing. One heir took out an airship. This was a narrow, streamlined airship, so it was easy to imagine how fast it would be. But the space inside the airship was too cramped. Standing among the three girls, Gu Qingshan didn't know where to go or where to go, so he didn't know what to do. In the end, even though he was standing, he didn't know where to put his hand. As soon as he put it down, he would touch the other party. There's no need to make the airship so narrow, he complained. Gongzi, this is the highest grade of airship. Only this airship's speed can escape from the realm demon's unconscious form, one heir explained. The black maw we saw just now belonged to the unconscious form. Then what about the conscious form? Shanu curiously asked. No one wants to see the conscious form. It's so fast that no airship can escape from it. As soon as it appears, it means death, one heir shook her head. At this point, Qingro's expression became serious. Gongzi, please remember, you're a very perverted person. You can't act so shy and nervous in front of us. Otherwise, you'll be exposed right away, Qingro said. Gu Qingshan was a bit annoyed. I understand. He still didn't know where to put his hands. Qingro grabbed one of his hands and spoke with a serious expression. I know you're not Qi Yin, and I know you respect us a lot. So for the sake of survival, you have to act a bit more natural. One heir grabbed his other hand and nodded, half encouraging and half serious. Gu Qingshan sighed and asked, Am I that unnatural? To be honest, you look like a cautious rabbit, ready to run away at any moment, one heir replied. Fine, Gongzi looked down, Shanu exclaimed in surprise. Gu Qingshan poked his head out and looked below the airship. Under the sky, there was no earth. Soil, mountains, rivers, plains, these things that were rooted in the earth were indispensable in every world. But in this world, there was no such thing. The entire ground was replaced by squirming crimson mussels. His dark red muscles were in the shape of thin and long fibers. All of his muscles were layered and undulating, constantly changing. Gu Shan gazed into the distance, but she couldn't see the end of his muscles. This was the realm demon's main body. He could not get close to it. According to the records, its strongest part was its body. Arcane spirit realm cultivators could at most defeat its unconscious and conscious forms. Once the realm demon's main body arrives, even cryptic realm cultivators can only run for their lives. He might not even be able to escape. Although Gu Shan knew that the other party had such a huge body, seeing it with her own eyes for the first time, she couldn't help but be shocked. How could it be so huge? Could it be? He muttered. According to the information the two girls provided, in the past few thousand years, the realm demon had already devoured the sun, moon, and stars around this world. And now, it had begun to devour the earth. The earth of the suspended world was formed from the fusion of countless worlds, so it contained the power of the origin of many worlds. Once the realm demon devoured the earth as well, this world would fall into complete destruction. That would be the end of the suspended world. Ironically, the cultivators of this world always wanted to conquer other worlds. But now, they don't have any more worlds. One heir took out the black talisman and looked at it again. The auspicious character was giving off a stable and lasting light. It was now that she could relax. Normally, when the realm demon wakes up, it's the dangerous hour. No one dared to release even a bit of spirit energy. Otherwise, they would be discovered and devoured by its unconscious body. When the realm demon hibernates, it's the auspicious hour when humans can use spirit energy and move around freely. As Gu Shan stared at the realm demon, she couldn't help but make a few judgments. After a bit of analysis and comparison, Gu Shan confirmed that this realm demon had surpassed the level of a normal demon lord. It wasn't a modified demon lord that charged into enemy lines, nor was it a chaotic demon lord that was hard to distinguish. The realm demon was the rarest true demon lord. This was the strongest existence among the three demon gods. It was an existence that was created from the corpse of an ancient god. With a human's inner sight and vision, they couldn't even see the entirety of its body, only a part of its body. It was like looking at the vast earth. This was the body of a true old god. The airship was flying away from the realm demon. All the islands were using floating formations to keep themselves as high as possible, staying as far away from the realm demon as possible. Only the islands that were about to run out of spirit stones had no choice but to lower the height of their floating formations to save spirit stones. They had to face an even more dangerous situation. After all, the closer they were to the realm demon, the easier it would be for them to be discovered. On the airship, "We're almost there," one heir muttered. Gu Shan pulled back her gaze and looked forward. A mountain was silently floating in the air. Guangyang sect. "We're finally here." Gu Shan closed her eyes, then opened them again, repeating the process a few times. "What are you doing?" Qing Ro asked. "Trying to get into the zone," Gu Shan answered. At this time, two streaks of light came from above the mountain. A streak of light slowly flew past them, slowly heading towards the faraway sky. It was a very large airship with a lot of resources piled up on top. Qing Ro explained, "This is a ship used to exchange for special pills. Grand Elder Wang Hong Dao is heavily wounded, so he needs those pills to stay alive." Gu Shan squinted her eyes and asked, "Which sect is this ship heading to?" "Rakshasa Peak, the only remaining large sect in this world," one heir answered. "What about the other large sects?" "Either die or run away. Run away. The only way to survive is for the entire island to break through space and leave this world. But that requires a lot of resources and the strongest cultivators. Only large sects have that," Gu Shan pondered. "Grand Elder Wang Hong Dao is a cryptic realm cultivator. Guangyang sect doesn't have the high-grade healing pills that Wang Hong Dao needs. The sect can only periodically send a ship full of resources to Rakshasa Peak to exchange for those pills." Another streak of light came and stopped in front of Gu Shan's group. A cultivator wearing a conical bamboo hat appeared and bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Home Master Qi," the cultivator respectfully said. He only glanced at Qi Yin for a second before his gaze was drawn to Shanu, who was disguised as Gu Shan. A stranger. Hall Master Qi actually brought a stranger back to the mountain. Who exactly is this person? While he was thinking, one air had already controlled the airship to fly past him. It was now that the cultivator reacted and hurriedly formed a few hand seals to open a gate in the Sex barrier formation. The airship turned into a streak of light, went through the gate, and headed towards the top of the floating mountain. On the way, quite a few cultivators saw the airship and bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Home Master Qi." Gu Shan didn't reply at all. His face was hidden under the large hat, giving off a faint killing intent that made him look gloomy and arrogant. Everyone only saw Qi Yin coldly looking forward. One of his hands reached to the side and lightly stroked Qing Ro's hand. Qing Ro stood next to him, smiling as she used her other hand to take out a cup of spirit tea and brought it to his lips. This was a very common sight. Qi Yin had always been like this. All the cultivators here were already used to this. They only glanced at him once before looking away to avoid offending Qi Yin. Right after that, the cultivators all used their inner sight to observe the stranger, Gu Shan. What kind of person could be brought up to the mountain by Home Master Qi? Everyone couldn't help but have this question in their minds. They were observing Gu Shan even more seriously, wanting to see something from him. Gu Shan stood coldly on the airship without any expression on her face. The airship flashed by, leaving the cultivators' gazes and inner sight behind as it flew straight to the top of the floating island. One air then put the airship away. This was the central area of Guangyang sect. No one was allowed to fly here. The four of them landed, walked through the buildings for a bit before stopping in front of courtyard. Qing Ro waved her hand to form a hand seal. A flash of light appeared in the sky above the courtyard. "Gongzi, we're home," Qing Ro muttered. Gu Shan replied with a faint chem. He was the first to enter, followed by Shanu and the two maids. As soon as one air entered, she formed another hand seal. The light above the courtyard disappeared into the void of space. The formation was activated again. The four of them entered the house. The door closed. Qing Ro and one air both sighed in relief. Chapter 497. It went quite well. Everyone's attention was on your disciple. "This trick worked quite well," Qing Ro also commented. "It's just a trick. The real battle is coming up," Gu Shan commented. He looked around, observing the layout of the room. Qi Yin was a virtualized realm cultivator and the son of the sect master, but his room was very ordinary. Gu Shan didn't see anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that caught his attention was a spirit jade carving. Gu Shan walked up to the table and picked up the jade toad. This jade toad was carved from top-grade spirit jade, with a small spirit formation carved inside to store spirit energy for a cultivator to absorb. As Gu Shan held in his hand, he felt countless strands of spirit energy seeping into his pores. "Good stuff," he praised. This was the only thing in the entire room that caught his attention. "Isn't it impossible to get spirit stones in this world?" he doubtfully asked. "There's still some good things that Qi Yin doesn't want to use up, like this jade toad. It's his most treasured collection," Qing Ro answered. Gu Shan put the jade toad down and picked up a fan. Unfolding the fan, he saw a painting of snow-white hair and beautiful jade. Qing Ro and one air looked at him, wanting to see his expression. Gu Shan casually held the fan and started fanning himself. "Yes, that's him," Qing Ro praised. "That's not me." Gu Shan sighed dejectedly. At this point, a noise came from outside. The noise was very light, as if afraid of disturbing Qi Yin. Gu Shan released her inner sight through the window to see a few cultivators putting a box in front of the yard. They bowed and retreated. Gu Shan recalled the records and asked, "The day of the sect's salary distribution has arrived?" "Yes, that's great. We'll have pills to use now." One air looked at Qing Ro with an expectant expression. "Who would have thought we'd get something good as soon as we arrived?" Gu Shan smiled. One said, "I'll go get it." She pushed the door open and slowly walked across the yard, putting the box away in front of the gate. Soon, the box opened in front of the four of them. Several bottles of pills, a small bag of spirit stones, a jade scroll. That's all there is to it. Warner picked up the bag of spirit stones and weighed it in her hand. Not bad this time. There seems to be 60 low-grade spirit stones. She was pleasantly surprised. 60 spirit stones. Gu Qing-shan stared blankly at these things for a long time. Qi Yin was a virtualized realm cultivator, one of the 3 hallmasters of Guangyang sect, and yet he only received so few spirit stones every month. Back in the cultivation world, every time 100 Flowers Fairy gave out spirit stones to her disciples, she wouldn't stop until her entire storage bag was filled. That was 100,000 spirit stones. As for elixirs, common formation plates, talismans, spiritual food, and even clothes and weapons, 100 Flowers Fairy would prepare them for her disciples. Qin Shaolu always complained that his master allowed him to go out and show off. Of course, this complaint couldn't escape a beating from 100 Flowers Fairy or White Goose. But this also showed how well Bai Hua sect was treated, as well as how abundant the cultivation world's resources were. Compared to that, Qian's situation was a bit too shabby. Gu Qing-shan sighed. Has this world's resources been depleted to this degree? That's right, even the ground doesn't exist anymore, let alone cultivation resources, Qing-ro answered. All the sects are now relying on their looting and reserves to survive, Warner also commented. Gu Qing-shan was speechless. She originally thought that this world's cultivation level would be high enough to see a glorious civilization. But that wasn't the case at all. This was a barren and dying world. And the reason for that was a true demon lord. Before the realm demon came, this world must have been prosperous and powerful. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to conquer so many worlds and give birth to so many powerful cultivators. But when a realm demon came to this world, it destroyed everything. If the realm demon appeared in my world, would the outcome be any different? Gu Qing-shan sighed and shook her head. He suddenly noticed that Qing-ro was staring at a bottle of pills with a hesitant expression. Gu Qing-shan took the bottle of pills. Opening it, she took out a few pills and sniffed them. They were normal healing pills. Do you need this? Gu Qing-shan asked. Warner took the initiative and spoke for Qing-ro. Big Sis was too soft-hearted. She once tried to save a few slaves, but Qi Yin found out and punished her to kneel on top of a coldine flame for a very long time. Her spirit energy was sealed, and she didn't have any healing pills. So Big Sis still hasn't fully recovered. Gu Qing-shan nodded, understanding. Coldine flame? That thing can cause a lot of pain, so this bottle of healing pills isn't suitable for you, Gu Qing-shan spoke in a low voice. Warner froze. The hope in Qing-ro's eyes slowly dimmed, but she nodded. That's true. Right now is the most crucial time. You should keep these pills for later use. That's not what I meant, Gu Qing-shan said. He threw the bottle of healing pills back in the box, then tapped his inventory bag. A small blue bottle was given to Qing-ro. Use this, Gu Qing-shan said. Qing-ro was a bit surprised. However, Warner rushed to open the cork. A thick medicinal scent came out from the bottle. The room was filled with the fragrance of medicine. Such a high-grade pill. It's been a long time since I've seen one. What kind of pill is this? Saying so, Warner's nose twitched, trying to absorb as much of the medicinal scent as possible. Her actions didn't seem like that of a Tribulation Realm cultivator. In fact, she looked a bit cute. As maids, the amount of cultivation resources they received was almost non-existent. Gu Qing-shan answered. 7 life transformation pill. Able to cure all fire poisons, heal all 5 elemental wounds, replenish vitality. Qing-ro's expression was calm as she pushed the blue bottle back into Gu Qing-shan's hands. This pill must be extremely precious. You should keep it for yourself. I can handle it, she said. Just keep it. I can get as many of these pills as I want. Gu Qing-shan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The first time Gu Qing-shan faced the Pope, he barely managed to use 7 stars flowing dragon and was heavily wounded. After entering Shenwu world, his wounds hadn't fully healed yet, so he had to stay inside the medicine barrel to heal himself. It was also at that time that Bai Hua Fairy filled his inventory bag to the brim. After that, sensing that she was going to die, the 100 Flowers Fairy put everything in Bai Hua's sect into the bag and gave it to him. The 100 Flowers Fairy was one of the most powerful people in the entire cultivation world. The amount of wealth and resources she had wasn't something a normal person could imagine. That's why this bottle of 7 life transformation pill wasn't even a drop in the bucket for Gu Qingshan. Qingro looked at him uncertainly, trying to discern his true thoughts. Gu Qingshan gave her the blue bottle without any hesitation. I hope we can work together and get through this crisis together. All right, if you're serious, I'll keep this pill, Qingro said. Wan Er happily said, Big sis, just look at how he risked his life to save his Shifu. You should know that he's a good person, Qingro nodded. Gu Qingshan took out the jade tag from the box. Reading it with her inner sight, she found out about the sect's most recent happenings. The only remaining great sect in the world, Rakshasa Peak, was about to pay a visit. The Grand Elder was still in seclusion to heal himself, only appearing when Rakshasa Peak arrived at the sect. The sect master was facing his tribulation in the space vortex. No one dared to face their tribulation in this world, otherwise the realm demon would immediately notice. All of these important matters were still the same, without any changes. But what caught Gu Qingshan's attention was a small matter. Xiangji Hall, which was in charge of the sect's resource reserves, and Ningyu Hall, which was in charge of the sect's disciples' cultivation, made a joint announcement. The sect's disciples' monthly spirit stones would be distributed a bit later. This was because Rakshasa Peak was about to pay a visit, so the sect decided to hold a welcoming ceremony. Because of the welcoming ceremony, Xiangji Hall had to focus on preparing everything, so they didn't have time to arrange the spirit stones distribution. Because of the arrival of the esteemed guests, Ningyu Hall also organized a sect competition. For this competition, they prepared quite a few decent prizes, enough to attract all the disciples to come and compete. After that, the sect would return to normal operations. Only then would Xiangji Hall arrange the monthly spirit stones distribution. As Gu Qingshan carefully read through the sect competition, she found that it wasn't what she thought it would be. Most of the competitions here were aimed at testing cultivators on the 6 arts: divination, formation, talisman, smithing, alchemy, and food were the 6 arts. Of the 6 arts, the one that the sect favored the most was formation. As for cultivation and winning in battle, they weren't even part of the competition. Gu Qingshan thought about it for a bit and quickly understood. The sects of this world no longer care about their disciples' cultivation. What's so good about having a high cultivation? For the sect, they have to spend more spirit stones to support you, as well as prevent you from trying to seize power. On the other hand, only those who excel in the 6 arts can better contribute to the sect. The most important of them all is formation. Chapter 498. As Gu Qingshan rubbed the jade tag, she suddenly remembered something. Shenwu World's warp formation, was it really made by Qi Yin himself? At the mention of this topic, everyone's expression turned solemn. This was the key to whether or not they would be able to escape. That's right, his formation skills were quite good, and since this was related to 2 completely new worlds, he didn't trust anyone else to obtain Shenwu World's coordinates, Wan Er explained. Gu Qingshan recalled the scene of the battle at the time. At the very last moment, Qi Yin used 300 defensive formations to protect himself and activated the 2-world warp formation plate. At the time, he said that the formation plate was given to him by his father, Gu Qingshan said. To make a 2-world warp formation plate, even for Guangyang's sect, the expensive materials are a heavy burden. Only the sect master and the Grand Elder can use them, Qingro said. That's why the formation plate really was made by his father, while the formations and world coordinates on the formation plate were set up by Qi Yin himself, Wan Er said. Qi Yin is already dead, Gu Qingshan sighed. Shenwu World's coordinates were all in Qi Yin's hands. As for the miniature warp formation, it was expensive to make and required a lot of precious materials. At the time of the attack on Shenwu World, there were only 2 such warp formations. One was in the hands of Guangyang Sect's formation master, The other was in the hands of the Zishan, young Master Qian. Every time this thing was used to warp between the two worlds, a part of it would be destroyed. Once to Shenwu world, the other to their world. After 2 warps, this thing was destroyed. The formation plate in Qian's hand brought Gu Qingshan, Qingro, and Wan Er back to this world. As soon as they returned, the formation plate broke into pieces. But before that, Gu Qingshan killed Guangyang Sect's formation master and took the other formation plate. Gu Qingshan used this formation plate to lure the Tianma into the battle. The formation plate had always been in his hand, but at the very last moment of the battle, he was suddenly warped into the space tunnel, so he didn't have time to give it to the Tianma. Gu Qingshan tapped her inventory bag and took out an exquisite palm-sized formation plate. There was a deep scratch on the formation plate, but it still emitted a sharp intent, and cracks appeared in the void around it. This was the array disk used to travel between the two realms. Qingro and Wan Er's eyes lit up, but quickly scowled. This array disk could still be used once. However, it could only send people back to the suspended world. With this formation plate, Gu Qingshan couldn't return to Shenwu world, but he was able to find Shenwu world's coordinates in the space vortex from the formation plate. This formation plate is our only hope of escaping, Gu Qingshan said. Qingro muses. There's a lock seal on the formation plate. If anyone tries to find Shenwu world's coordinates, this formation plate will immediately be destroyed, so cautious? That can't be right. He clearly gave his formation plate to a formation user, Gu Qingshan commented. That formation user skill is very low. He definitely wouldn't be able to break Qi Yan's lock seals. Furthermore, Qi Yan also set up a kind of connection on the formation plate. If that formation user tries to find the coordinates of the world on the formation plate, Qi Yan will immediately know, so he's being so cautious. Gu Qingshan sighed. Wan Er confirmed. That's right, it was under this condition that he allowed that formation user to use the formation plate, Qingro continued. Only a formation user even more skilled than Qi Yan will be able to find Shenwu world's coordinates from this formation plate. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan muttered. And then we'll need to make a new formation plate. That'll also require the help of a formation user. And a large amount of materials, Wan Er added. Gu Qingshan didn't say anything else, instead thinking about another detail. Qi Yan is the son of Guangyang Sect's master, one of the 3 hall masters, yet he doesn't trust the people around him with the coordinates. Thinking that, Gu Qingshan became even more cautious. Shenwu world is connected to the cultivation world. In that world, there are a lot of people that Gu Qingshan cares about. Once the coordinates are leaked, Guangyang Sect will definitely launch a full-scale invasion. For those 2 worlds, that's without a doubt a disaster. Qi Yan doesn't trust his own sect's people, his own subordinates. If that's the case, Gu Qingshan doesn't trust anyone at all. Gu Qingshan looked down and stared at the formation plate. A line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. 2-world warp formation plate. Unique item, consumable, number of directional warp available. 1 time, teleportation world, suspended world. Following this line of text, the War God skills icon at the bottom of the War God UI lit up. 2-world warp formation plate contains the following 2 types of formations: directional warp formation, Shenwu world, directional warp formation, suspended world. To comprehend any kind of directional warp formation, it will cost 10,000 soul points. Attention! This is an advanced formation that has never been seen before. It involves knowledge of the world coordinates, space vortex tunnel opening, 2-world warp, as well as other top-level formations. Attention! You can first study the formation knowledge to reduce the soul points cost to comprehend the directional warp formation. Gu Qingshan stared at the number 10,000 for a while. This is a number that's almost impossible to reach. To learn the art of formation from scratch requires a lot of effort, and besides the Realm Demon, there aren't any other monsters in this world. 10,000 soul points was an impossible task. After a while of silence, Gu Qingshan finally noticed something else. At the corner of the War God UI, his soul points value was displayed. Current soul points. Gu Qingshan held his breath and didn't move for a while. His trip to Huang Quan had used up almost all of his soul points. What's the matter? You don't look so good. Qing Ro asked in concern. Gu Qing Shan slowly sighed. I found a bit of a problem. Guangyang sect doesn't have any formation users left, and we actually have a way to deal with formations. Qing Ro consoled him. What way? Qian previously had a maid who came from a world that specializes in formations, one heir explained. Qing Ro also added, that maid is called Chu Lu, a very smart and beautiful young girl. Then she should be on our side. Where is she now? Gu Qing Shan asked. If she wasn't a member of Guangyang sect and instead had the same status as Qing Ro and Wan Er, this girl called Chu Lu would definitely be willing to escape this world with us. After seeing her in person, if there aren't any problems, we can let her try. Qi Yin gave her to his subordinates. Why? He got tired of it, Wan Er answered. Gu Qing Shan froze. The real reason is because Chu Lu is an expert in formations. Qian didn't feel safe keeping her by his side. Qing Ro glared at Wan Er and said. Gu Qing Shan was surprised. A woman who's an expert in formations, as well as a vengeful person. Of course, Qi Yin didn't feel safe. Who knows when she would silently dispel the formations around them. As soon as there's a dangerous time, and there aren't any quarantine formations around them, they'll die for sure. That's easy. I'll take her back right away, Gu Qing Shan said. Qing Ro and Wan Er exchanged looks, both happy. You seem to be very happy? Gu Qing Shan asked. Of course, she was a very good girl, extremely beautiful and kind. Even Qi Yin didn't have the heart to kill her directly, so he decided not to see her. So he threw her to his subordinates, Wan Er chattered. Suddenly, Qing Ro's expression changed and said, Someone's here. A second later, a voice came from outside. Home Master Qi, today is the sect's official meeting day. It's time, Gu Qing Shan coldly replied. I remember this day, should be the day after tomorrow. The voice paused for a bit, then continued. It's brought forward this time. Qing Ro and Wan Er both appeared worried. I only know that Rakshasa Peak will come to visit. Maybe it's because of this, Qing Ro muttered in a low voice. This is a secret. When we were discussing this, we were all dismissed, so we don't know the specifics, Wan Er quickly added. Gu Qing Shan seriously listened. Has that sect arrived yet? He asked. Before we left for Shenwu World, I heard they're about to arrive, Qing Ro answered. Gu Qing Shan fell into thought. Without any warning, the sect's official meeting was brought forward. That was a bit unexpected. The sect's official meeting was a regular meeting between the higher-ups of Guangyang sect. Usually, those who participated in this meeting were Grand Elder Wang Hongdao, Sect Master Qiroya, Ningyu Hall's Hall Master Yingmei, Zweiwei Hall's Hall Master Qi Yin, and Xiangji Hall's Hall Master Zhao Wuchue, a total of 5 people. Ningyu Hall was responsible for the sect's disciples' cultivation. Zweiwei Hall was responsible for external battles and internal punishments. Xiangji Hall was responsible for the sect's resources. Both Ying Mei and Zhao Wuchue were Grand Elder Wang Hongdao's personal disciples, both virtualized realm cultivators. There was a rumor that while Ying Mei was the Grand Elder's disciple, she had also become his concubine. In the past, Ying Mei was about to get married and become a Dao companion with another sect's male cultivator, but Wang Hongdao stopped her. There were so many things that no one could say for sure. But in the end, Ying Mei didn't get married. Among the 5 of them, only the sect master Chiruaya was on his son's side, so the ratio was always 2 to 3. The sect master's faction was the weakest in the sect. But now, the sect master Chiruaya had left to face his tribulation, leaving only Qi Yin. Qi Yin had to face the Grand Elder and the 2 Hall Masters by himself. The Grand Elder was still in seclusion, but no one knew if he would come out of seclusion this time to attend a meeting. At least Qi Yin didn't know. Furthermore, this meeting might even involve the strongest sect of this world, Rakshasa Peak. Everything was a mess. Not to mention the fake Qi Yin Gu Qing Shan. Even if Qi Yin was here himself, he wouldn't be able to deal with such a complicated situation. Wan Er gritted her teeth. How about we run? Gu Qing Shan cut her off and casually said, It's fine, let's go. Did you read the information I gave you about the 2 Hall Masters last time? Qing Ro looked at her and asked worriedly. I've memorized everything that happened to them for the past few hundred years, Gu Qing Shan answered. Chapter 499. One Air hurriedly opened the door. The four of them went out. The cultivator outside had been waiting for a long time. Knowing that this was going to be a tough job, he didn't even dare to look back and quickly led the way. After a while, they reached the highest point of the floating island. There was an open platform here. Gu Qingshan observed the platform. Several dozen formations protected the platform. There were no obstacles around the platform at all. This was just in case. If the ominous luck talisman's prediction goes wrong and the realm demon suddenly goes berserk, the leaders can run away as fast as they can. When running for their lives, even a second faster can make all the difference. Everything is for the sake of running for their lives. There were already a few people sitting on the platform. A mature, seductive woman wearing a pale blue feather dress. A bare-chested, muscular man whose blood essence was condensed into mist. Even though they were sitting there without moving, the spirit energy waves they gave off were like a storm, causing everyone to feel uneasy. They were Ningyu Hall's Hall Master Ying Mei and Xiangji Hall's Hall Master Zhao Wuchue, two virtualized realm great cultivators. Behind the two of them were several young cultivators standing to the left and right of them. But the most eye-catching one was a snow-white fox. It was wearing a woman's mask, crouching on the other side of the platform. The woman's mask was extremely lifelike, with a smile on her face and a hint of seductiveness. Standing below the platform, Gu Qingshan stopped for a bit. He already knew about the two hall masters, but this was the first time he saw the white fox. According to Qing Ro and Wan Air's description of this world, Gu Qingshan's heart jumped. Because on the white fox's female mask, there was a pink flower petal between her eyebrows. According to Qing Ro and Wan Air's information, there was only one person in this world who had such a pattern. Rakshasa Peak's lord, Rakshasa's daughter. Every generation's Rakshasa's daughter must kill 7 female cultivators and 21 male cultivators with higher cultivation than themselves to receive Rakshasa's thaumaturgy inheritance. Once a Rakshasa's thaumaturgy inheritance is accepted, there are only 2 possible outcomes. The first is to receive Rakshasa's recognition and inherit Rakshasa's thaumaturgy. A unique pattern will appear between the cultivator's eyebrows. The second is to be rejected by Rakshasa and eaten by a powerful monster from the void. Rakshasa, the god of evil spirits. Only those who have truly inherited Rakshasa's arts will be recognized as Rakshasa's daughter. From then on, even the cryptic spirit realm cultivators in the sect must bow down to Rakshasa's daughter. Those who possess the Rakshasa divine ability would have a certain pattern appear on their foreheads. This meant that the cultivator had already obtained the Rakshasa sacred art. As for the Rakshasa's divine ability, it did not belong to this world. For several tens of thousands of years, every Rakshasa's daughter has a different pattern between their eyebrows, and the thaumaturgy they receive is also different. And these Rakshasa divine abilities were all divine abilities that had never appeared in this world before. Rakshasa's daughter was the peak lord of Rakshasa Peak. She was powerful and had a high status. For tens of thousands of years, very few people knew about the supernatural powers of a certain Rakshasa's daughter. This was Rakshasa Peak's top secret. Very few people knew about it. Qing Ro and Wan Air couldn't understand just how powerful this generation's Rakshasa's daughter was. In this world, such a strange and hard to distinguish existence was an enemy that no one was willing to face. The white fox was wearing Rakshasa's daughter's mask, which meant that it was Rakshasa's daughter's spirit pet. This meant that Rakshasa's daughter was here as a guest to observe Guangyang sect's meeting today. And this was also tacitly agreed to by Guangyang sect's higher-ups. Qing Ro and Wan Air lowered their eyes. Their hearts were already hanging by a thread. Who would have thought that even Rakshasa's daughter would send her spirit pet to visit during a sect meeting? It's going to be even harder to not be exposed. Gu Qingshan was only an ascended realm cultivator. What should they do now? With that in mind, they couldn't help but release their inner sight to observe Gu Qingshan, only to see Gu Qingshan taking out a fan. Qi Yan's beauty fan. He opened the fan, lightly fanning himself as he slowly walked up the platform. Where's the old man? Gu Qingshan casually asked while walking. In the entire Guangyang sect, he was the only one who dared to call Grand Elder Wang Hongdao that. The Grand Elder isn't here, so we're here to discuss a few important matters. Also, what happened to your face? Yingmei asked. Gu Qingshan rubbed his face and casually replied, "Just a small wound. It's nothing." Yingmei carefully looked at the wounds on Gu Qingshan's face, feeling a bit strange. Who was it that was able to leave so many wounds on Qi Yan's face? But very quickly, Yingmei noticed that Qi Yan brought a stranger to the meeting. Her gaze was drawn over. Ah, that seems even more interesting. A person like Qi Yan would actually bring someone other than his maids to show off. While thinking that, Yingmei couldn't help but observe Gu Qingshan. As for Qi Yan, he managed to escape her attention. What did the sect master order you to do? Why are so many of your Zwei Wei Hall's people missing, and even you yourself are wounded? Zhao Wuchui squinted his eyes and asked. The people of Zwei Wei Hall were all sealed by Qi Yan and brought to Shenwu World. They all died at the hands of the Tianmai Empress. Gu Qingshan listened, but didn't answer. He quickly walked past the two of them and sat down on his seat. All right, let's begin. Tell me why we're holding this meeting early, he said. Hall Master Qi, you still haven't answered my question. Zhao Wuchui glared at him. Gu Qingshan closed his fan and spoke seriously. Old Zhao, there's no need for you to ask about Zwei Wei Hall's matters. You're not my woman. Asking so many questions and acting like an old woman is annoying. Qi Yan, you're always so arrogant. Aren't you afraid that one day you'll fall into my hands? What do you think will happen then? Zhao Wuchui squinted his eyes and asked. You want to fight? Gu Qingshan asked. Zhao Wuchui smirked. What? You've only just broken through to virtualized realm, and you dare to challenge me. He had already reached virtualized realm a long time ago. Even in this world, he's still a great cultivator. While Gu Qingshan was only at ascended realm late stage, a few realms away from him. And Qi Yan had only just become a virtualized realm cultivator, much weaker than Zhao Wuchui. If they really fought, Gu Qingshan would immediately be exposed. Qingro couldn't help but glance at Gu Qingshan. Sure enough, he was a bit hesitant. His hesitation quickly attracted both Yingmei and Zhao Wuchui's attention. When Zhao Wuchui wanted to say something else, Gu Qingshan spoke up. If you want to fight, I'll keep you company, but you'll have to wait first. He still had a bit of hesitation on his face as he spoke. Why? Zhao Wuchui was surprised. Gu Qingshan scowled. There's an esteemed guest here. You should go find a shirt to wear first before I can fight you. Otherwise, you're too exposed. If the esteemed guest misunderstand my sexual orientation, I won't be able to explain myself. Zhao Wuchui froze. Silence reigned. The disciples around all lowered their heads to hide their expressions. The white fox was covering its mouth with both hands, its entire body trembling. Zhao Wuchui was stunned for 2 breaths before he understood what he meant. This foul-mouthed brat. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. Zhao Wuchui's fighting spirit erupted. Boom! The huge ferocious killing intent was like a monstrous flood, causing the disciples to tremble with fear. Qingro and Wan Er were still looking down. They were only Tribulation Realm cultivators, and their powers were sealed. So in front of a virtualized realm cultivator like Zhao Wuchui, they didn't even dare to lift their heads, afraid that someone would notice their abnormality. Gu Qingshan picked up the cup of tea on the table and took a sip. Men, turn off the formations and ask the esteemed guest to leave so that he doesn't get in the way of me and Home Master Zhao, he still casually said. A battle between 2 virtualized realm cultivators could easily destroy countless formations with a wave of their hand. And this was Guangyang sect's core area. Their battle would definitely cause a devastating blow to the sect. A formation user came out, looking at the 2 Hall Masters with a troubled expression. Hall Master Zhao, what do you think? He didn't want to offend Qi Yan or Zhao Wuchui. Now that Qi Yan had spoken, if Zhao Wuchui also agreed, no one would blame him for turning off all the formations. Not only that, the white fox suddenly spoke. Actually, I'm also very interested in Guangyang sect's battle. Can I stay and watch? Zhao Wuchui's fighting spirit froze. The white fox was Rakshas's daughter's spirit pet. Whenever it went out in the world, it represented Rakshas's daughter's presence. Since Rakshasa Peak is involved, Zhao Wuchue couldn't help but force himself to calm down and consider this. Do I really have to carry out an internal battle of the sect in front of them? That would be too embarrassing. Qi Yin can ignore it, because that's who he is. But Zhao Wuchue can't do that. A battle between virtualized realm cultivators can go on for a very long time. But the white fox is here, representing Rakshas's daughter, paying close attention to this meeting. Rakshasa Peak will come to visit later on. If they wait until they arrive at Guangyang sect, only to find that the two hall masters of Guangyang sect are still fighting and destroying the entire core area of the sect, wouldn't that be the biggest joke in the world? Who doesn't know that Qi Yin is a devil incarnate? But what about Zhao Wuchue? This is the most crucial moment, yet I'm ignoring the bigger picture. Shifu is currently dealing with that matter. If I do something so incalculable in front of an important guest, how will Shifu see me from now on? Zhao Wuchue froze in place. Hall masters, please wait. Yingmei stood out and stopped Zhao Wuchue. Old Zhao, we have an important guest here, just let it go. Not to mention, you know Hall Master Qi's personality very well. Don't take it to heart, Hall Master Qi. Just keep your mouth shut. We're both Hall Masters and virtualized realm cultivators. There's no need to fight every day. She tried to persuade both sides. Yingmei Sis is a point. Gu Qingshan put down her tea, as if she'd already forgotten about sparring with Zhao Wuchue. He stared at the white fox, evaluating it. He seemed to be very interested in the white fox, but didn't say anything to it. While Zhao Wuchue was being ignored, he couldn't do anything, but he also didn't want to let it go, so it was awkward. Chapter 500. Everyone had already turned their gaze back to him, apparently preparing for what was to come. But Zhao Wuchue couldn't say anything else. Such a depressing matter only made Zhao Wuchue even angrier. He was a virtualized realm great cultivator. In the sect, other than the Great Elder and the Sect Master, he was the strongest. And now, Zhao Wuchue was being humiliated like this. He couldn't help but speak with a hateful tone. Hall Master Liu, let's begin the meeting. First of all, let's discuss that matter with Hall Master Qi. I'd like to see how our Hall Master Qi is going to deal with this. Hearing that, Yingmei silently sighed. She really didn't want to provoke Qi Yin in this situation. But now that it's come to this, she has to talk about it. It's like this, Hall Master Qi. You haven't been in the sect recently, and your subordinates have caused a very serious matter. Yingmei organized her words and spoke. What is it? We're all from the same sect. Why can't we just turn a big problem into a small one and a small one into nothing? Gu Qingshan casually said. If it was anything else, I would have just turned a blind eye to it. But this matter has gone against the sect's taboo, so I had no choice but to tell you about it. Yingmei smiled bitterly. Zhao Wuchue cut in, glaring at Gu Qingshan. I didn't tell you, but because this matter is so serious that it's going to affect the sect so much that I have no choice but to deal with it. Hall Master Qi, I hope that you can follow the sect's rules and deal with this matter fairly. Saying so, Zhao Wuchue smiled happily. Speak, Gu Qingshan said. Yingmei waved her hand. Bring them up. Following her gesture, 7 to 8 cultivators flew down from the platform. A few moments later, 2 cultivators were dragged up from the platform with spirit shackles. As soon as the 2 cultivators saw Qi Yin, they acted like they saw their savior and shouted, Hall Master, please save us. They were both from Zweiwei Hall. In fact, they were even Qi Yan's trusted subordinates. Gu Qingshan's eyes turned cold, but said, These are all my people. What does Yingmei Sis mean? Yingmei explained, Yesterday, for the sake of a maid, they fought each other. While they weren't paying attention, the maid destroyed a formation and almost destroyed a large part of the building. At that time, it was only a quarter of an hour away from danger. Fortunately, the 3 array masters of the sect were all there to rescue him. Only then were they able to complete the isolation array. Gu Qingshan narrowed her eyes. A maid, a spell formation, 3 formation users, which means Guangyang sect still has 3 formation users. Stealing maids. Gu Qingshan looked at her two subordinates and chuckled. Young master. A subordinate changed the way he addressed him. It's definitely not as serious as they say. When it happened, we immediately captured Chu Lu. Chu Lu. Very good. As expected, it was the maidservant who understood formations. She was the key to repairing the two-world teleportation array. He heard that she was a kind woman. As long as I save her, she should be able to cooperate with me to escape this world. Gu Qingshan silently thought. He was still looking at his two subordinates with a cold and calm expression. Seeing that he didn't react at all, the other subordinate hurriedly said, Young master, we've already done something to remedy the situation. Zhao Wuchue scoffed. Humph. What kind of remedy is that? Even if you killed her, it's already happened. Kill her. Kill her. Kill her. Chu Lu is dead. Gu Qingshan's expression didn't change at all, but his heart sank. Qing Ro and Wan Er's bodies trembled as tears flowed down their cheeks. As maids, they weren't afraid of being seen by others with such a reaction. You really killed her? Gu Qingshan finally asked. The two subordinates nodded. One of them said, The culprit has already been executed. They can't punish us anymore. Young master. The other subordinate added, That's right, young master. You have to make the decision for us. Zhao Wuchue spoke. Qian, this isn't a small matter. You should understand how serious this matter is. Formations have always been the most important thing to do, but those were only two normal formations. One of Qian's subordinates mustered his courage and said, Within the sect, no one is allowed to affect a formation, even if it's a normal formation, Ying Mei said. She emphasized, formations are related to the safety of the entire sect. If there's a problem and the realm demon is attracted, the entire sect will have to die with it. Gu Qingshan closed her eyes and thought for a bit, then said, Tell Wu San to come see me. I want to know the truth. The two hall masters exchanged glances and nodded. It's understandable that they want to know the truth. Qi Yin is a suspicious person, so he won't just listen to whatever you tell him. The guard cultivator quickly left. A few moments later, a fat cultivator arrived on the platform. He ran in front of Gu Qingshan, knelt down and cowed out. Master called for me? Wu San showed a flattering smile. The cultivators around all showed looks of disgust. What exactly happened? Tell me, Gu Qingshan said. Gu Qingshan added, I want to know the truth about what happened this time. Don't try to hide anything from me. Hearing that, the two hallmasters' expressions changed. Wu San already had a look of righteous indignation on his face, but as soon as he heard the second half of Gu Qingshan's words, his expression changed. Seems like young master has other plans this time. I better not misunderstand. Master, it's like this. He objectively and accurately explained what happened. The truth was exactly as Ying Mei said. Ying Mei continued. According to the sect's rules, the two of them will be stripped of their cultivation and demoted to servant disciples, never to enter the Zwei Wei Hall ever again. Hall Master Qi, what do you think we should do? Zhao Wuchue asked with interest. He looked at Gu Qingshan, thinking about what he prepared beforehand. As soon as Qi Yin exonerates his subordinates, he and Ying Mei will immediately make things difficult for Qi Yin, putting him in a difficult position. Being embarrassed in front of Rakshasa's daughter, Qi Yin must be furious. But Qi Yin definitely won't be able to turn this around, since this matter is on his side. Zhao Wuchue clenched his fist, waiting for Qi Yin's reaction. Everyone else also looked at Qi Yin, wanting to see how he would react, only to see Gu Qingshan lightly adjusting his hat, touching the wound on his face. I've been in a bad mood lately, he said. The two hall masters frowned. Is he going to cause trouble again? Is there no end to this? Hall Master Qi, Ying Mei said. Gu Qingshan waved his hand to cut her off, telling her not to say anything else. He stood up and walked in front of his two subordinates. That maid, what was her name again? He turned around and asked. Chu Lu, Qing Ro answered. Yes, Chu Lu. Gu Qingshan looked at his two subordinates and asked in a low voice, What did I tell you when I gave her to you? The two subordinates exchanged looks, a bit panicked. They've never been able to understand Gongzi's intentions. Gongzi, you said that this is your maid, and because we've done a good job, You're letting us enjoy her, one of them said. Gu Shan turned to look at the other subordinate. Did I really say that? The other subordinate hurriedly replied, That is indeed the case. Gongzi, Gu Shan, silently nodded. He walked behind the two of them and lightly touched the spirit shackles that bound them. This was a method of restraining a disciple who made a mistake, used to restrict their cultivation and prevent them from running away. This level of spirit shackles was also much simpler than the one on the maid. At least it wouldn't bind the cultivator during danger, nor would it have any torturous spells. Gu Shan casually replied, Whatever sect rules you broke, I don't think it's a big deal. The two subordinates' expressions loosened. Sure enough, the cultivators silently thought. The white fox watched this scene quietly. Zhao Wuchue immediately stood up. Qian, even if it was your idea, now that the consequences are so severe, you can't be biased towards them. Why would I be biased towards them? Gu Shan was surprised. Since you're so biased, Zhao Wuchue wanted to say something, but found it wrong and swallowed it back down. He could only glare at Gu Shan, waiting for him to continue. I only said that the sex rules don't matter. Towards Wei Hall, they really don't matter. Gu Shan glanced at Zhao Wuchue and casually said. Qian's two subordinates were overjoyed. Sure enough, our Gongzi is the best. Just like that, the two hallmasters' faces were trampled on by Qian in front of everyone. On the other side, Yingmei's expression was grim. Zhao Wuchue was already furious. He wanted to argue with Qian a bit. This Qian is so reckless, he really deserves. While Zhao Wuchue was thinking, Qian called out. Sword. Yes, sure, Fu Shanu replied. A sword flew into Qian's hand. A cold sword chi flashed. Two corpses fell to the ground. Qian held one head in each hand, standing still with an indifferent expression. He raised the two heads up to face himself. You people, do you really think you're something? Poof, poof. Two heads fell to the ground. A sword flew like a dragon and landed in front of Shanu. Shanu put her sword away. Everyone froze. Zhao Wuchue evaluated Gu Shan, hesitantly asking, You, why are you doing this? Yingmei also spoke. According to the sect's rules, they only need to be demoted to servants. What does Hall Master Qi mean by this? There's no need to talk about sect rules here. Gu Shan took out her fan, fanning herself while walking back. He had just killed someone, yet he took out such a beautiful fan and spoke as if nothing happened while fanning himself. His nonchalant attitude left many disciples speechless. To absolve yourself, you dare to kill my maids as a scapegoat. I'm a bit pissed off saying so. Gu Shan returned to her seat and sat down. Zhao Wuchue couldn't help but ask, Don't you often kill maids as well? I can kill them, but no one else can. Why is that? These maids are my property, so of course I'm the only one who can deal with them, Gu Shan casually replied. At this point, Qing Rose stepped forward, knelt down, and brought a cup of tea to Gu Shan's lips. Gu Shan took a sip. He casually pinched Qing Ro's chin and whispered, Qing Ro, don't you agree? Yes, Gongzi, Qing Ro replied in a low voice. Yi Yingmei muttered, The sex rules. She couldn't say anything else. I've already killed them for you to see. Do the sex rules still matter? This Qian truly doesn't care about the sect, no matter who it is that touches his benefits. Even if it's the tiniest bit of benefit, even if it's something he doesn't care about, he won't hesitate to bare his fangs. Indeed, Qian is exactly this kind of person. So heartless, so selfish. This kind of person is like a venomous snake. Once they go mad, they're very scary. Yingmei and Zhao Wuchue exchanged looks. Chapter 501. Qing Ro put the teacup back on the table and silently retreated behind Gu Shan. Gu Shan sat there comfortably and asked, Why aren't you saying anything? If there's nothing else, I'm going back, Zhao Wuchue scoffed. Of course there's something, and it's about you, but there are too many people here so I can't say it. Yi Yingmei didn't say anything. She first apologized to the white fox. I'm sorry. It's the first time the esteemed guest has come to see such a bloody scene. The white fox shook its head. It's fine. I think it's quite good. Your sex style is quite compatible with ours. Then, esteemed guest, please go and rest for a bit, because right now we need to deal with some internal matters. There's really no need for esteemed guest. Zhao Wuchue also spoke politely. Letting her spirit pet come to Guangyang's sex meeting was already giving Rakshas's daughter enough face. But every sect has a few core matters that they can't reveal to outsiders. The white fox naturally understood. It stood up and bowed to the 3 hall masters one by one. The 3 hall masters hurriedly stood up and bowed in return. The white fox took off the Rakshas's daughter mask. Just now, the peak master said that she admires Hall Master Chi's way of doing things, so she ordered me to give this mask to you. Ying Mei and Zhao Wuchue's expressions changed. Rakshas's daughter was able to observe everything just now through the white fox. This thaumaturgy isn't too rare. But she gave her own mask to Qi Yan. Why is that? Gu Qingshan was also a bit surprised, but smiled. Then I thank the peak master. When your sect comes to visit, I'll give her my thanks. He waved his hand behind him. Qing Ro came forward and received the Rakshas's daughter mask from the white fox. It was cold to the touch. This mask was carved from supreme-grade spirit jade that was as thin as a cicada's wing. This was something that the hall masters understood with a single glance. This mask represented Rakshas's daughter, the symbol of her identity. The white fox explained, "This is a personal item that Peak Master likes very much. She always carries it with her. I hope Hall Master Qi can treat it with respect." "Yes, don't worry," Gu Qingshan replied. Holding the mask, Qing Ro couldn't help but think about it. In front of everyone, it was not appropriate to directly hand the mask to Gu Qingshan. After all, Rakshasa Peak's Peak Master was a female cultivator, and this mask was her personal item. Furthermore, the white fox had emphasized it. If he directly handed it to Gu Qingshan, it would be too impolite and too formal. This was why Gu Qingshan told Qing Ro to fetch the mask. But after taking it back, Qing Ro didn't feel good about keeping it. Because she was a maid, she can take things for her master, but she wasn't qualified to keep something as important as this for Qi Yan. Qing Ro then placed the Rakshas's maiden mask on the table in front of Gu Qingshan. "Young master, all right, you may leave." Gu Qingshan couldn't help but nod slightly when she saw her doing this. When the white fox saw this, it was very satisfied. "Then I'll take my leave first," the white fox said. "Please," the 3 hall masters said in unison. The white fox had achieved its goal, so it retreated in satisfaction. Looking at the mask, Ying Mei and Zhao Wuchue were a bit confused. As the master of Rakshasa Peak, Rakshas's daughter's every action has a deeper meaning. What does she want by doing this? Zhao Wuchue quickly thought about it and spoke. "Then, we'll now discuss the sect's core matters. The rest of you may leave." The guards quickly left the platform and left. Qing Ro and Wan Er also left. Shanu stood still. "HM, what's with this brat?" Zhao Wuchue scowled. "This is my new disciple, Gu Qingshan." She came to greet the 2 seniors. Gu Qingshan gestured to Shanu. "This beauty is Ning Yuhal's Hall Master Ying Mei. The one next to her is Hall Master Zhao Wuchue, whose name shakes over half of Xiangji Hall." Hearing Gu Qingshan's introduction, Ying Mei smiled and evaluated Shanna together with Zhao Wuchue. But Zhao Wuchue's expression was still dark. Just now, Qi Yan said he was the hall master who shakes over half of Xiangji Hall. The more he thought about it, the more bitter he felt. Shanu stepped forward and bowed. "This humble one is Gu Qingshan. Greetings to the 2 hall masters. Ascended realm late stage. From the way he took in disciples, his cultivation isn't low," Ying Mei commented. "Is he a sword cultivator?" Zhao Wuchue asked. "Yes," Shanu answered. "Why did you want to take in a disciple?" Ying Mei curiously asked. "Let's not talk about that. Qingshan, since you've met the 2 seniors, you may leave," Gu Qingshan said. "Yes," Shanu replied. She clasped her fist to the 2 virtualized realm cultivators again, turned around, and walked down the platform. Zhao Wuchue stared at Gu Qingshan's back, then suddenly clenched his fist and lightly struck the air. Shanu abruptly turned around and stabbed forward with the 6 Paths Great Mountain Sword. 5 sword phantoms struck forward like a sledgehammer, collided with the fist chi in the air and broke apart. The transparent fist chi was stopped for a bit, but it was still going strong. Zhao Wuchui's punch was able to break Shanu's secret art, water flow severance, and still had power left over. As the fist chi approached, it was already too late for Shanu to strike again. But two swords suddenly appeared next to her. Earth Sword, Chao Yin Sword. In a split second, two large white crescent sword phantoms overlapped and collided with the transparent fist chi. Crack! The sound of air being torn apart reverberated through the entire high platform, accompanied by a slight tremor. The fist chi was cut apart by the two crescent slashes and finally broke apart into an intense gust of wind that continued to howl. 3 secret arts in a row finally dispelled Zhao Wuchui's fist chi. Gu Qingshan stood still, the two swords circling around him. Wielding the 6 Paths Great Mountain Sword, he coldly asked, "Senior Zhao, what is the meaning of this?" Zhao Wuchui stared at the 2 flying swords and exclaimed in shock, "Sword Saint. So he's a Sword Saint. That can't be right. He's only Ascended Realm." As Yingmei glanced at Qi Yin, her doubts disappeared. A mere Ascended Realm cultivator whose swordsmanship could rival that of a Sword Saint. If I met such a fine jade, I would also be tempted, she sighed. Gu Qingshan smiled and said, "All right, Gu Qingshan, you can go now. Senior Zhao was only joking with you just now. Wait." Zhao Wuchui stopped her. Gu Qingshan looked at him. "Have you finished the apprenticeship ceremony? I remember that when our sect accepts a disciple, it has to be confirmed at the sect itself." Zhao Wuchui very seriously asked. "I've only just returned, so I have time to do that, but it's only a matter of time," Gu Qingshan replied. Zhao Wuchui paused. He smiled at Shanu. "Since you're a junior, and you managed to receive my fist, I should at least give you a greeting gift. Seems like it was worth it for you to receive that fist." Qingshan, Gu Qingshan told Shanu. Between cultivators, giving a greeting gift to a new disciple of a cultivator of the same generation is indeed the most basic of etiquette and rules. Even if Zhao Wuchui and Qi Yin had a bit of a conflict between them, there's still some basic etiquette that needs to be followed. Quickly thank Senior Zhao. He's a virtualized realm cultivator as well as a hall master. He can't even give you a gift that's too bad. It's too shameful. Gu Qingshan quickly pushed Zhao Wuchui away. Zhao Wuchui glanced at him, then back at Shanu. With Zhao Wuchui's cultivation, he was able to see through this Gu Qingshan's foundation with a single punch. A seed of the path of the sword. A true seed of the path of the sword. How regretful. How could such a good seed be discovered by a piece of trash like Qi Yin first? Zhao Wuchui felt a bit regretful. However, since he hasn't performed the apprenticeship ceremony yet, there's nothing to worry about. Qi Yin is about to die anyway. At that time, thinking that, Zhao Wuchui tapped his inventory bag and took out a bottle of pills. Shanu caught the bottle in her hand. "You're already at Ascended Realm late stage. I can see that your foundation is deep and your spirit energy is full. You're about to break through," Zhao Wuchui said. "There's a saintly ascension pill in this bottle. During your tribulation, it'll help you replenish your spirit energy. Once you're done, it'll help you quickly calm down your rampaging spirit energy." Gu Qingshan's eyebrows twitched a bit and smiled. "That's a good thing. Quickly thank Hall Master Zhao." "Yes, thank you, Hall Master Zhao," Shanu replied. Yimei also took out a talisman and threw it over. She smiled. "Since old Zhao gave it to me, I can't fall behind. This is a self-activating defensive talisman. Although it can only be used once, it can block a virtualized realm's full power attack. Enough to save your life once. What do you think, Hall Master Qi? I didn't give you that punch for nothing." Zhao Wuchui smiled and said. "Hall Master Zhao, thank you." Gu Qingshan looked at him and also smiled. Zhao Wuchui nodded, then turned back to Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan had just received 2 treasures from 2 virtualized realm cultivators, but her expression didn't change at all. Shanu's personality has always been cold, and she's an artifact spirit, so of course she wouldn't care much about these things. Seeing how Gu Qingshan wasn't arrogant or impatient, the 2 great cultivators' evaluation of her improved a bit. Even though Gu Shan was smiling, she was still very cautious in her mind. An elder giving a gift, this seems like a very normal thing to do. Not to mention, the things that the two hall masters gave her were extremely valuable, giving Qi Yin enough face. If Qi Yan's real body was here, he would definitely be proud of himself. But Gu Shan felt that something wasn't right. According to their relationship with Qi Yin, they don't even care about Qi Yin, so why would they treat a junior with such sincerity? Zhao Wuchue even said a few extra words with a very good attitude. How could a virtualized realm cultivator like him hold back his displeasure and say something like that? That's superfluous. Gu Shan smiled and waved her hand. All right, Shan, you can leave for now. I have something to discuss with the two hall masters, yes. Chapter 502. Everyone who wasn't involved left the platform. On top of the platform, the three hall masters fell silent. The two hall masters each had their own thoughts, as if they were thinking about what to say next. Gu Shan also kept his mouth shut and didn't say a word. He doesn't know much about this kind of confidential matter. The more he says, the more mistakes he'll make. Taking this chance, he glanced at the War God UI. Lines of glowing text have been on the UI for a very long time now. Just now, Gu Shan was focused on dealing with the situation, so he didn't have time to look at it. You killed Sainted Realm late stage cultivator Wang Qi Chun. You killed Sainted Realm middle stage cultivator Xiongjiu. Because both of your kills were from the weaker side, and both were instant kills, you've gained more soul points than the upper limit. Soul points gained, 700, soul points gained, 500, remaining soul points. Looking at these notifications, Gu Shan felt a bit assured. Finally, more soul points. In the current situation, soul points is the only thing that can change everything. To find the coordinates of Shunwu World, he must rely on formation users. The only trustworthy formation user in this world, Chu Lu, has already been killed. The remaining 3 formation users of Guangyang sect are useless. To return to the cultivation world, Gu Shan has to do it himself. He must use War God skills to comprehend the mysteries of formations and fully grasp the 2-world warp formation. Gu Shan's gaze moved down to the row of options on the War God UI. Among these options, there were only 3 that showed their specific buttons. They were War God Skills, War God Thaumaturgy, and War God Title. Aside from that, the other options were all covered in black, unable to be seen. Gu Shan only glanced over them and didn't pay any more attention. Right now, the first thing he needed to think about was how to escape from this world. He couldn't care about anything else. Ying Mei finally spoke up. Sirs, what we're about to do next is related to the survival of our sect. Although we've already discussed it once, I'm sure you've all thought about it again after returning. So please tell us. It's best if the 3 of us can come to an agreement. We've already discussed it once. It would be best if we could come to an agreement. But what were the 3 hall masters discussing? Qing Ro and Wan Er didn't have the qualifications to listen to this, and Qian wouldn't tell them of his own accord. So Gu Shan had no idea what Ying Mei was talking about. Hall Master Zhao, please speak first. Gu Shan said without hesitation. Zhao Wuchue didn't think too much about it and said, I object to Qi Yan's opinion. I suggest that he retract his opinion. Ying Mei said nothing and looked at Gu Shan. After expressing his stance, Zhao Wuchue also looked at him. Under the watchful eyes of the 2 virtualized realm cultivators, Gu Shan appeared to be contemplating. Well, you're against my idea. That's all right. All I have to do is counterattack. But who can tell me what I stand for? Old Zhao. Gu Shan hesitated a bit before speaking. I feel like you're purely against me, so you haven't really considered my opinion at all. Don't you think it's a bit too much to object, just for the sake of objecting? Zhao Wuchue scoffed. Don't think that everyone is the same as you. I'm a person who keeps private and personal matters separate. I would never mix these 2 things up. He still doesn't know what it is. After knowing you for so long, I finally know you're this kind of person. Gu Shan smiled. Zhao Wuchue just stared at him without saying anything. Ying Mei also didn't say anything. The 2 of them just stared at him. Gu Shan had no choice but to continue. Very well. If that's the case, then please explain the reason why you object to my idea. His tone became serious. If you can convince me, perhaps I'll reconsider this. Saying so, Gu Shan went silent. He didn't know what it was, so he didn't want to say anything else. Hearing him say that, Zhao Wuchue also became serious. This is an urgent matter, and there's still no news from Shifu, so Qi Yin has to stop for now. I admit that you have a good appearance and talent in cultivation, but Rakshasa Peak isn't someone we can mess with, Zhao Wuchue said. Go on, Gu Shan said. Rakshasa Peak. When I returned to the sect, I seem to have seen an airship specifically used to transport resources to Rakshasa Peak. An entire airship's worth of resources for a single pill. Just to exchange for a cryptic realm cultivator's healing pill to keep Grand Elder Wang Hongdao alive. And now, Rakshasa Peak is coming to visit. Gu Shan quickly thought about it, but pretended to be listening attentively. Seeing that, Zhao Wuchue thought that she was thinking about what he said, so he tried to persuade her. Ever since the big sects broke through the sky and left, Rakshasa Peak has been the only one left, and they have 3 cryptic realm cultivators that can suppress all other sects, and so? Gu Shan made an impatient expression. Everything he said is common sense in this world, so it's normal for him to be impatient. Zhao Wuchue quickly explained his point. That's why Rakshasa Peak only agreed to your proposal on the surface, but they're actually trying to probe us further. Hall Master Yi and I both believe that this kind of sect that eats people without even spitting out the bones definitely has malicious intentions towards us. Gu Shan took a sip of her tea, her expression calm, as usual. What exactly did this Qi Yin guy say? The fact that the 2 Hall Masters are against him has something to do with his good looks. Even as Gu Shan racked her brains, she couldn't find out Qi Yan's true intentions from these few words. The 2 Hall Masters continued to stare at him. Even Rakshasa's daughter's mask was placed on the tea table, her eyes smiling as she looked at him. Gu Shan spoke again. Old Zhao, this is only your personal opinion. There's no basis for it. Gu Shan shook her head. Zhao Wuchue looked at Yingmei. Yingmei cleared her throat and spoke. I do agree with old Zhao's opinion. Yingmei sis, do you really think the same as him? I do. Very well. They clearly want to fight 2 against 1. To be honest, Yingmei sis, you're much more clear-headed than him. I want to hear your opinion, Gu Shan said. Yingmei didn't doubt her and spoke very seriously. This generation's Rakshasa's daughter is about to break through to cryptic realm. While you've only just reached virtualized realm, your strength isn't equal. This is the first reason. The second reason is that none of the people that Rakshasa's daughter paid attention to died a good death. Some of them even sacrificed everything they had but still ended up dead in the end. This can't be a coincidence, having received 2 useful pieces of information. Gu Shan nodded and gestured for Yingmei to continue. Yingmei continued. The third reason is that all the large sects have already left. In the current world, besides Rakshasa Peak, there's only our Guangyang sect left. I suspect that Rakshasa's daughter wants to use you as a stepping stone to deal with our entire sect, she concluded. That's why, when Rakshasa Peak's people come a visit, we all hope that you will retract that request in front of everyone. Retract? Gu Shan's expression turned grim. I was the one who made the request. Now you want me to retract it in front of everyone. What would happen to my face? Even though he had some information, he still didn't dare to guess what Qi Yan's request was. What kind of people are these 2 virtualized realm cultivators? As long as Gu Shan makes a single wrong guess, a single wrong statement, her identity will be exposed. The situation was becoming more and more dangerous. Zhao Wuchue and Yingmei exchanged glances, unable to hold themselves back. Even at a time like this, Qi Yin is still talking about face. What exactly are you? Zhao Wuchue was about to say something. Gu Shan cut him off. Let's get straight to the point. If you want me to retract my request, what benefits do I get? Zhao Wuchue and Yingmei were both surprised, then realized. That's right, this Qi Yin brat doesn't care about face at all. He only cares about his own benefits. The 2 of them once again understood Qi Yan's true nature. Benefits? The benefit is that you won't die at Rakshasa's daughter's hands. Zhao Wuchui spoke in a low voice. Gu Qingshan coldly laughed, nodded, but didn't say anything. From the looks of it, he's already marked Zhao Wuchui down in his mind. Old Zhao, don't say any more. Yingmei glared at Zhao Wuchui. Qian, this really isn't a joke. Rakshas's daughter's secret techniques and thaumaturgy are hard to differentiate. Even we don't have any guarantee against them, Yingmei patiently explained. Not to mention, you know how the Grand Elder body is. He needs to rely on precious pills to stay alive every day. So the sect can't afford to go through any more trouble. If Rakshasa Peak has ill intentions, we won't be able to deal with a single Rakshas's daughter. Qian, I hope you can seriously consider this and retract your words. You're right, but I don't see any benefits, Gu Qingshan casually said. He glanced at the two of them, only to see that Yingmei was still trying to hold herself back, while Zhao Wuchui couldn't hold himself back anymore. It's time to change his strategy. Gu Qingshan suddenly had a thought. His expression became a bit more serious as he spoke in a low voice. Old Zhao, do you really think this isn't right? After all these years, you should have gotten to know me better. Why don't you trust me? Seeing how serious he was, Zhao Wuchui's anger subsided a bit, but he still couldn't stand Qi Yan's attitude. He stood up and shouted, Then tell me, after all this time, other than giving her a bunch of precious resources, what else have you gotten from her? Qi Yan, you really can't pursue Rakshas's daughter anymore. She doesn't even want a Dao companion. You won't be able to get close to her. Zhao Wuchui loudly shouted. Yingmei also nodded. Dong. Gu Qingshan's heart relaxed. Finally, I know Qi Yan's words. No wonder the white fox looked at him a bit differently. No wonder Rakshas's daughter gave him the mask. Chapter 503. After a few attempts, he finally understood Qi Yan's intentions. In that split second, Gu Qingshan's mind went back and forth countless times. He couldn't help but recall a few things from before. When he returned to the sect, the airship full of resources once again appeared in his mind. Those were resources used to exchange for Grand Elder Wang Hong Dao's life-saving pills. A world where resources couldn't be replenished. Not to mention, Guangyang's sect's strongest combatant was under someone else's control, so it was normal for Rakshasa Peak to covet Guangyang's sect. Under such circumstances, Qi Yan still wanted to dual cultivate with the famous Rakshas's daughter. This was no different from playing with fire. However, although Qi Yan was heartless and selfish, he was an idiot. Yes, he was lustful, but in so many years of history, he had never made a mistake because of that. He was even cautious of a beauty like Chu Lu because of how skilled she was in formation. This was a smart and cautious person. Under what circumstances would such a person take such a huge risk and ask for help from an outside force? Unless his situation was so bad that he had no choice but to do so. While Gu Qingshan was thinking, a few moments had passed. Seeing how silent Qi Yan was, the two Hall Masters thought that he was still stubborn and wouldn't listen. They couldn't hold back their anger any longer. Zhao Wuchui couldn't help but clench his fists. Yingmei's expression slowly turned cold. At this point, Qi Yan suddenly sighed deeply. He stood up, clasped his hands behind his back, and slowly walked to the edge of the platform. Yingmei sis, old Zhao, do you think I'm an idiot? He asked. The two virtualized realm cultivators froze. We were talking about Rakshasa Peak. Why did it suddenly jump to you? Idiot. They slowly came back to their senses. That's right, although you're cold, cruel, and unreasonable, Zhao Wuchui muttered. Yingmei also couldn't help but nod. From what she could see, Qi Yan really doesn't do anything stupid. He's a very smart person, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to reach virtualized realm. If that's the case, why would he do something like this? The two virtualized realm cultivators thought at the same time. As their anger subsided, new questions arose in their minds. Qi Yan, tell me honestly, why do you insist on pursuing Rakshas's daughter? Yingmei asked. Gu Qingshan was silent for a few breaths, her mind quickly processing all the information. They were trying to rope in their disciple, Gu Qingshan. Although this kind of solicitation was hidden in the gifts given by the elders, it was above board, and even Gu Qingshan would not suspect it. But Zhao Wu Chue actually explained it to Qi Yin. For a virtualized realm great cultivator like him, to take the initiative to explain to the enemy was already superfluous. This was a clue. Zhao Wu Chue and Ying Mei both had their own thoughts about Gu Qing Shan. Some sort of thought there was too little information, and it was impossible to deduce anything. Let's change our way of thinking. When did their attitude toward Gu Qing Shan change? That's right, ever since I told him that I haven't completed the ceremony to acknowledge him as my master. As long as the ceremony is not completed, Gu Qing Shan is not Qi Yan's official disciple. But the apprenticeship ceremony would be completed sooner or later. Gu Qing Shan would also become Qi Yan's disciple sooner or later. Not to mention, Qi Yan wouldn't give up his disciple to someone else. That doesn't make sense. If that's the case, then there's only one situation in which Zhao Wu Chue and the others could obtain Gu Qing Shan. Qi Yan is dead. Indeed, that's the only answer. From Qi Yan's end, it's easy to deduce Qi Ruoya's current situation. Wang Hongdao still hasn't appeared. Where'd he go? It's obvious. Gu Qing Shan's heart turned cold. From this conjecture, she was able to deduce everything she saw before and found the corresponding clues. The two hall masters are afraid of Rakshasa's daughter. They didn't mention a single word about sect master Qi Ruoya's tribulation. Grand Elder Wang Hongdao was absent from a meeting. No one knows where Wang Hongdao is. Other than that, the most important piece of information was the sect spirit stones have been delayed. Could this be the reason for everything? Gu Qing Shan recalled the airship full of resources. Thoughts after thoughts appeared in Gu Qing Shan's mind, then quickly linked them together to form a conjecture. A few moments later, Zhao Wu Chue spoke impatiently. Qian, Hall Master Yi is asking you a question. Why aren't you answering? Gu Qing Shan suddenly said, because I don't think my father will be able to survive this tribulation like a bolt of lightning. The two virtualized realm cultivators were so shocked that they almost wanted to attack her. Why? Zhao Wu Chue asked. He lowered his gaze, trying his best to hide his killing intent. He actually has a kind of injury that hasn't healed yet. It's very difficult for him to face the tribulation, Gu Qing Shan said. Ying Mei and Zhao Wu Chue exchanged glances. Seems like Qi Yin doesn't know the other truth. It was now that the two hall masters relaxed a bit. Qi Yin, I don't believe you tell me such a secret, Zhao Wu Chue said. Ying Mei also shook her head. This is actually a very secondary matter. Not as important as whether or not we can survive. Gu Qing Shan suddenly said something out of nowhere. Hearing that, both Ying Mei and Zhao Wu Chue's expressions changed. Us, Ying Mei muttered. Zhao Wu Chue couldn't help but ask. What do you mean? Qian, is there something wrong with your head? You can't even understand what you're saying. Gu Qing Shan suddenly became furious, quickly walked in front of Zhao Wu Chue and poked him in the chest. He shouted, Zhao Wu Chue, we're all done for. We won't even have a chance to reincarnate if we die in the realm demon's mouth. And you're still trying to act like that in front of me. This sentence struck deep into Zhao Wu Chue's heart. He froze. What do you mean? I don't understand, he muttered. He didn't dare to confirm what the other party was talking about. But someone like Qi Yin wouldn't joke around with his life. Ying Mei spoke in a low voice. Qi Yin, explain yourself. Gu Qing Shan coldly laughed. How much longer do you think we can live? Don't try to scare us. We're alive and well, Zhao Wu Chue replied. We're alive and well, but you're going to die. Zhao Wu Chue silently added. But Qi Yin continued. My father is about to die. Guangyang sect only has a heavily wounded cryptic realm cultivator left, which is your Shifu, Wang Hongdao. How could Guangyang sect defend against Rakshasa Peak's attack like that? Zhao Wu Chue's expression darkened and said, That's why we hope that you won't provoke. Provoke? You're saying that I'm provoking them? Gu Qing Shan laughed out loud, as if she just heard something funny. What are you laughing at? Zhao Wu Chue asked. Rakshasa Peak has 3 cryptic realm cultivators. As long as they really want to kill us, do you think we can avoid them just because we don't provoke them? Gu Qing Shan asked. Zhao Wu Chue was speechless. Ying Mei tried to explain for him. At least we still have Grand Elder Wang Hong Dao. Rakshasa Peak wouldn't dare. Ying Mei couldn't say anything else. She also felt how powerless her words were. Grand Elder Wang Hong Dao needs Rakshasa Peak's pills every day to keep himself alive. Rakshasa Peak doesn't even need to do anything. As long as they stop trading pills, they can just wait for Guangyang Sect's strongest force to die. The two of them fell silent. Indeed, this is the real situation. This is the situation that the three Hall Masters have no choice but to face, aside from the sect's internal strife. Gu Qingshan looked at the two of them and calmed down a bit. Only by raising the matter to this level would the two Hall Masters seriously listen to what he has to say. If he still talks about the sect's internal matters, they'll only look at him like he's a clown, waiting for him to finish, waiting for him to die at the hands of the returning Wang Hong Dao. After a while, Zhao Wuchue spoke up. Is this the reason why you provoked this generation's Rakshasa's daughter? He stubbornly used the word provoked, as if all of this was caused by her. Gu Qingshan's expression was solemn as she stared at Zhao Wuchue. What is it? Zhao Wuchue asked uncomfortably. Gu Qingshan smiled. Old Zhao, tell me the truth. How much resources does the sect have left to trade with Rakshasa Peak for pills? Of course, there's still a lot of Zhao Wuchue opened his mouth to speak. Gu Qingshan waved her hand to cut him off. Stop. Don't try to lie at a time like this. This is related to our survival. I hope we can be honest with each other. If you're honest with me, I'll be honest with you too. I found a way to survive. The two Hall Masters stared at him. A way to survive? Ying Mei fell into thought. Qian, Gu Qingshan waved her hand to cut her off, saying, Rakshasa Peak has 3 cryptic realm cultivators. Do you really think they care about our survival? Their resources are only enough for their own use. People like you and I. If we take a step further, we'll threaten their position. If we take a step further, they'll need to spend resources to support us. If you were them, what would you do? Gu Qingshan smiled at Ying Mei. Ying Mei sis, I'm sure the sect's 3 formation users would be better off than us. Ying Mei's mouth opened and closed a few times, but couldn't say a single word. Indeed, Qi Yin was telling the truth. Countless sects have been destroyed. The same thing happened. Gu Qingshan leaned forward, looking at Zhao Wuchue. Old Zhao, I'll say it again. Tell me, how many resources does the sect have left to use? He continued. Tell me the truth, and I'll tell you what our only way to survive is. Zhao Wuchue stared at Gu Qingshan for a while before speaking. I remember you weren't at the sect a while ago. I was. Gu Qingshan answered. A lot of people left with you. None of them came back. Ying Mei also said. Where did you go? Zhao Wuchue asked. Old Zhao, tell me your story first. Then I'll tell you, Gu Qingshan said. What if you're lying to me? There are 2 of you, and my realm is much lower than yours. Hearing that, Zhao Wuchue lowered his head. Time seemed to have frozen at this moment. After a while, Zhao Wuchue struggled to open his mouth and said something. Resources can still support one last pill exchange. Ying Mei's expression changed. She exclaimed in shock. Old Zhao, how could that be? I remember last time you said it was enough for a few more years. Zhao Wuchue lowered his head, still not saying anything. Gu Qingshan went silent. It seems Guangyang Sect's situation is even more dangerous than I thought. But my situation has turned for the better because of this. It's only now since he came to this world that he had a bit of confidence. Confidence to survive. Gu Qingshan asked in a low voice. Old Zhao, it must be Wang Hong Dao who told you to say that to calm everyone down, right? Zhao Wuchue still didn't say anything, only nodded unnoticeably. Ying Mei's face went pale. She seemed to have thought of something and gritted her teeth. He even lied to me. Wang Hong Dao needs pills to keep himself alive. If he wants to continue living, he needs to monopolize all of the sect's resources until there's nothing left in the sect, Gu Qingshan said. He sighed. You two must know this very well. You just don't want to admit it. The two of them went silent. This was a common problem for everyone. Before despair has arrived, they'll always think that everything is fake. Looking at them, Gu Qingshan's thoughts turned. Maybe it wasn't just a fantasy. Maybe Wang Hong Dao used some sort of method to make them not dare to resist. Then, if I can't move them now, everything will fall apart. The situation has reached a point where I have to see the truth. Sure enough, Zhao Wuchue suddenly looked up and stared at him. I've been very honest, that's right, Gu Qingshan answered. Truthfully, I'm also a bit desperate. That's why I risked letting you know about this. If Shifu finds out that I've leaked the secret, he won't let me go, Zhao Wuchue said. That's true, Gu Qingshan agreed. Then, Hall Master Qi, can you show us your sincerity? Zhao Wuchue asked. Gu Qingshan looked at Zhao Wuchue. Zhao Wuchue also looked at him. Zhao Wuchue's eyes carried a bit of hope. His body tensed up. If I let someone like Qi Yin know about the sect's secret, Shifu definitely won't let me go. If Qi Yin still tries to trick me this time, I'll kill him even if it costs my life. I do have a way, Gu Qingshan said. Saying so, he couldn't help but look around. Seeing that, Zhao Wuchue smiled bitterly. Don't worry, this time, all the formations are activated. In other words, sometimes the formations aren't even fully activated. The sect's lack of resources is already this shocking. Gu Qingshan walked in front of the two of them, lowered his voice, and said something. Chapter 504. A New World. Qi Yin found a new world? Zhao Wuchue suddenly stood up and shouted. That's impossible. For countless years, every world that could be found has already been found. What if it's true? Gu Qingshan asked. Yingmei spoke in a low voice. Rakshasa Peak sent out 3 cryptic realm cultivators to search the space vortex for over 100 years, but they still couldn't find a new world. What if I'm telling the truth? Gu Qingshan still casually asked. The 2 hall masters stared at him. Gu Qingshan looked at Yingmei, then at Zhao Wuchue, and smiled. The 2 hall masters were a bit unsure. Qi Yin looked so calm. Did he really find a new world? If that's the case, then everything will be different. Zhao Wuchue couldn't help but ask Yingmei, what do you think? Yingmei shook her head and slowly spoke. Hall Master Qi, even if there's a new world, why would you tell us? She continued. Up until now, the 3 of us haven't been on good terms, let alone close. I don't think you'd be willing to tell us such a thing. That's right. That's exactly it. Zhao Wuchue followed up. Gu Qingshan casually said, it's not wrong for you to think that, you're right. Zhao Wuchue couldn't help but ask. When I first found the new world, I really didn't want to tell you these 2 virtualized realm cultivators have lived for a few thousand years. Not only are they the best at cultivation, they're also the ones in charge of the sect's internal and external affairs. They're both extremely intelligent. To make these 2 people believe me, I'll have to put in some real effort. Thinking that, Gu Qingshan raised his hand. He held the edge of his hat and slightly tilted it up. His face was completely exposed in front of the 2 hall masters, only to see a few deep sword slashes across his face all the way to his chin. The slashes made a slight turn on his face. Just as they were about to reach his neck, they suddenly changed direction. From the looks of it, at a certain crucial moment, Qi Yin managed to dodge. Otherwise, these slashes would have cut off his head. In other words, Qi Yin was almost killed. The 2 hall masters were stunned. The bamboo hat isolated his aura, and Qi Yin had kept his aura very low, so the 2 hall masters could vaguely see the scars on his face, but not so clearly. Now that he looked at it, he realized that Qi Yin was almost killed. Although he managed to keep his life, Qi Yin's face was already disfigured. No wonder he always wore a bamboo hat and refused to show his true face. Yingmei nodded, expressing her understanding. Zhao Wuchue didn't understand. You are a virtualized realm cultivator. Even though you are only at the initial stage, you're already very strong. How could you? Yingmei also couldn't help but ask, who would dare to do that to you? Even Rakshasa Peak has a good relationship with you. In front of them, Qi Yin's expression was vicious and vicious. Qi Yin pulled his hat down again to cover the ghastly wounds on his face. Did you see it clearly? He asked. The 2 hall masters nodded in unison. I've answered your questions, Gu Qingshan said. He stood there quietly, not saying another word. The 2 hall masters couldn't help but ponder. Qi Yin has always valued his appearance the most, and now he's pursuing Rakshasa's daughter. But someone had disfigured him. Qian definitely wouldn't want that to happen. That's already very clear. If that's the case, isn't the new world a bit troublesome? Zhao Wuchue tried asking. Gu Qingshan didn't answer, but killing intent rose from his body. He couldn't help but clench his fists tightly. Yi Yingmei stared at his tiny movements and muttered, No wonder I haven't seen your subordinates. With your current situation, Zweiwei Hall alone wouldn't be enough to take that world. Zhao Wuchue spoke. Acting rashly against a new world isn't the best choice. Qian, you've been too careless, although his tone was calm. The two hall masters' faces suddenly lit up. Their eyebrows loosened. Their gazes became a bit more spirited. A new world. This was a synonym for great wealth and resources. This word made them recall the glorious days of the past. Although they haven't confirmed the truth yet, being in this despairing world, they were willing to immerse themselves in these memories. How strong is the other party? Zhao Wuchue tried asking. There's one person I can't deal with, a virtualized realm middle stage sword cultivator. Hearing that, the two hall masters calmed down. Although a sword cultivator is unparalleled in killing, his realm is a bit low, and he's alone. If that doesn't work, they can just surround and kill that sword cultivator together. They'll definitely be able to kill him. If that's true, I have no problems with that. I'm willing to go with you. Zhao Wuchue immediately expressed his stance. Me too, Yingmei nodded. Gu Qingshan put up a finger in front of the two of them. There's a crucial thing I need to deal with first, he said. What is it? You need to cooperate with me to kill Wang Hong Dao first. Gu Qingshan didn't wait for them to react and continued. When my father fails, the first person Wang Hong Dao will kill will be me. So he must die first. Zhao Wuchue's expression changed and couldn't help but shout. You bastard! You want me to betray my Shifu? Old Zhao, shut up! Gu Qingshan angrily shouted. What has Wang Hong Dao ever given you over the years? He said he wanted you to be in charge of Xiangji Hall, but in truth, everything that happens in Xiangji Hall has to go through him first. What authority did you get? What benefits did he give you? Hearing that, Zhao Wuchue's face twitched uncontrollably, as if he was about to explode. Gu Qingshan walked up, put her hands on his shoulders, and sincerely told him, Old Zhao, the world is about to be destroyed. We need to survive. You can't care about others anymore. You need to think about your own life first. Hearing that, Zhao Wuchue was stunned. Actually, we can also take you down and force the coordinates of that world out of you, Yingmei suddenly said. As she stood up, her aura started to rise. Zhao Wuchue also realized. Yingmei sis, do you think I didn't consider that? Gu Qingshan casually asked. He raised his hand and swore. I really don't know the coordinates of that world. If there's any falsehood in my words, may I be struck by lightning and perish. An invisible wind drifted around his body, not dissipating for a long time. A rumbling sound rang out in the sky, sounding like thunder. Heaven and earth resonated. The vow was made. You don't know the coordinates? Zhao Wuchue couldn't react in time. Yingmei had already fallen back on her chair, lowering her head. There really is a new world, but I didn't personally take the coordinates, Gu Qingshan slowly said. However, if something happens to me, the coordinates of the new world will be destroyed right away. At that time, everyone will die together. Only Wang Hong Dao will be able to use the sect's remaining resources to live for a few more days. If that's what you want, then you can do it right now. Yingmei's killing intent was completely retracted, not leaving a single trace behind. She looked up, blankly staring at Gu Qingshan. Qian, you're too sly, she sighed dejectedly. Gu Qingshan's expression changed to one of sincerity. Yingmei sis, let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. I hope you won't blame me. Go ahead, I still remember back then. You were supposed to become Dao companions with a core disciple of another sect, but at the very last moment, Wang Hong Dao jumped out and stopped your marriage. I don't know what happened. I only know that the core disciple mysteriously disappeared after that while speaking. Gu Qingshan stared at Yingmei's expression, only to see that Yingmei was staring at a certain spot in the void of space without moving. She pursed her lips, as if tasting some sort of bitterness. It was now that Gu Qingshan asked in a low voice, After so many years, don't you hate him? Yingmei turned her head away. She put her hand on her chest, unable to say a single word. Zhao Wuchue spoke in a low voice. Qian, you're too sly. I can't believe what you're saying right now. And I can't believe that there's a new world, old Zhao. You don't need to test me. This is very crucial. It's directly related to our survival, so to show my sincerity, I'll prove it right away, Gu Qingshan said. The two hallmasters looked at her at the same time. Their eyes showed a sense of longing, like a drowning person trying to grab onto something. Seeing their expressions, Gu Qingshan had a few more thoughts in his mind. Wait a moment, saying so. Gu Qingshan walked out of the platform, outside the range of the formation, and ordered Qing Ro, "Go, find Wu Sen." Yes, Qing Ro replied and left. A few moments later, Wu Sen appeared in front of the three hallmasters. First, he knelt down and kowtowed to Gu Qingshan. "Gongzi, what orders do you have for me to come here?" Wu San had a flattering smile on his face, but his eyes were filled with uncontrollable suspicion. The three hallmasters stared at him without moving a muscle. Wu San has never been in such a situation before. Gu Qingshan gestured to the two virtualized realm cultivators. "You can choose not to believe anything I say, but you should know that a person's soul vessel can't be tampered with. Otherwise, that person's mind would be affected." The two hallmasters both nodded. If a person's soul vessel has an issue, it can't be hidden from their eyes. Wu San's eyes were clear. His inner sight was stable, clearly a normal cultivator. Gu Qingshan explained, "This is my trusted aide. He's done a lot of things with me. You'll definitely be able to find out about the new world's memories from him. The memories came from his soul vessel. I can't tamper with this. Nor can I deceive you. Please see for yourselves." Yingmei and Zhao Wuchue exchanged glances, both a bit tempted. "Let me test it first." Zhao Wuchue couldn't wait anymore and spoke first. "Go ahead," Yingmei replied. Zhao Wuchue's body moved and disappeared on the spot. Before he could do anything, Wu San had already been knocked unconscious. Zhao Wuchue opened his palm and placed it on top of Wu San's head. To look into a person's memories, the easiest and most effective way is to use soul reading. Zhao Wuchue closed his eyes and fell into deep thought. The entire platform went silent. Even Yingmei, who has always been calm, couldn't help but ask. She asked, "Old Zhao, is it real or fake?" She looked at Zhao Wuchue, then at Gu Qingshan. Zhao Wuchue didn't say anything and continued to search through Wu San's memories. Gu Qingshan stood on one side with a calm expression. The reason why he was so calm was because what was happening right now was exactly what he had expected. Before in Shenwu World, he had used soul reading on Guangyang sect cultivators and found out about Wu San's existence. It was also at that time that the system issued a special quest. Wu San must die. Wu San was the only survivor who knew about the existence of Shenwu World and the cultivation world. But Wu San only knew that Qi Yin brought a large group of people to Shenwu World. Wu San didn't go to Shenwu World, so he didn't know what happened to Qi Yan's subordinates, or even Qi Yin himself. He didn't know that Shenwu World only had a weapon spirit left, nor that the strongest cultivator in the cultivation world was only Sainted Realm. The 100 Flowers Fairy breaking through to Projection Realm was something that happened the last time Qi Yin entered Shenwu World. Gu Qingshan told the two hallmasters that she couldn't deal with that world by herself and needed their help. Wu San's memories perfectly avoided this lie. This was the best part. Wu San could easily prove the existence of the new world, but he didn't know how strong or weak it was. Time slowly passed. At some point, Zhao Wuchue's expression suddenly relaxed. An uncontrollable smile slowly spread across his face. Zhao Wuchue opened his eyes and spoke with a crazed expression. "It's true. It's true. And it's not just." Before he could finish, Yingmei had already rushed forward, pushed his hand away, and placed her own on top of Wu San's head. After a while, she muttered, "Two worlds, two completely new worlds." Her entire being seemed to have been reborn. Seeing that it was about time, Gu Qingshan asked, "Yingmei sis, old Zhao, what do you feel now? Zhao Wuchue and Ying Mei both nodded. The existence of the new world was without a doubt. Gu Qingshan came forward at this point, grabbing Wu San in his hand. This subordinate of mine has done his part. Let him have a good rest. Saying so, he lightly twisted his hand. Gotcha! Wu San's neck bent at an angle. Gu Qingshan casually tossed him away. Wu San's body was thrown off the platform, rolling on the ground without any signs of life. The two hall masters were both stunned, but very quickly they realized. Are there any other people in the sect who know? Zhao Wu Chue asked. No, my subordinates are all in the new world. He's the only one who knows, Gu Qingshan answered. Ying Mei added. That's right. The matter of the new world is too important. We can't let anyone else know. Of course, Gu Qingshan's expression was indifferent, but his mouth was echoing his words. Wang Hongdao is a cryptic realm old fox. Once he returns, he'll definitely have a way that we don't know what to know that Wu San was summoned here alone. Wang Hongdao is a suspicious person. You might want to find out what exactly happened when Wu San was alone with the three of us. If he acts against Wu San, then the matter of the new world won't be hidden anymore. The two hall masters nodded as they listened. That's right, we definitely can't let Wang Hongdao find out about this, Zhao Wu Chue agreed. Qi Yin was quite trustworthy when it came to keeping things a secret, but he didn't know that as soon as he said that, Gu Qingshan was able to confirm one of her guesses. The only regretful thing is that this matter has caused you to lose a trusted aide. Ying Mei looked at Qi Yin and said apologetically. But Qi Yin's expression didn't change at all. Ying Mei, sis, it's fine. Wu San's life played a bit of a role for me. He should be able to die without regrets now, Gu Qingshan indifferently said. His tone made it seem as if he was narrating a very ordinary matter. Zhao Wuchue and Ying Mei fell silent. Qi Yin was a cruel and heartless person, so doing this was the best choice he could have made. To keep this a secret, only someone like Qi Yin could have done it. Thinking about it, if Qi Yin could have dealt with the two new worlds by himself, he wouldn't have asked for help. Thinking that, the two hall masters felt a bit lucky. But then Qi Yin spoke again. Ying Mei, sis, old Zhao, you've seen my sincerity. The two hall masters nodded at once. There's no doubt about the existence of the new world. To protect the secret of the new world, Qi Yin even killed one of his subordinates. His sincerity was more than enough. Now, please cooperate with me to kill Wang Hongdao. This will be my guarantee of survival that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.